cheers to episode 202.
Cheers.
Connor. Has Michigan State basketball going on decides to shove a Packers mug in our face?
Devontae just got released today, so might as well. Homecoming.
I am drinking. I wish Alex could be here to shame me, but I'm drinking coffee. Not my fault though. I didn't make it. Marissa brought home. She must have had Dunkin' Donuts at her office today because she brought home like a half of a coffee and a Boston cream donut and a chocolate donut from work.
They're getting
so
donuts,
I'll take the coffee.
and they're not punchkis on Fat Tuesday.
No, today was Fat Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yes.
I have them ready for us.
Okay. Connor already hot with a bleep off the start.
I wish he was at school because I didn't get one today.
I didn't either. Just Fat Tuesday came up on me, even though I'm not Catholic or celebrating this Ash Wednesday at all, but I like punchkis.
I had no idea it was Fat Tuesday. Zero idea.
Punchki. That is a code word we had for vape in high school. Punchki.
Like, pass me the vape?
Like,
we would just say,
punchki?
I want to give me a punchki, yeah. And then just Colby would hand me his vape. That's how you downplay it.
That is definitely something that I think missed. We're only a couple years apart, but that missed our grade. People weren't really vaping in high school.
That didn't hit us until we were like freshmen, sophomores in college. Then that's when it hit big.
So for those who haven't realized, Alex is not on the show tonight. We have Connor. Thanks to our friend Connor filling in here. Evan as well with us. Kind of a mixed bag show, I would say. We'll have our check-ins as always. We'll have some generic sports headlines. It's a little different than normal. Just some quick headlines to react to, questions about before we get into more Michigan sports stuff. It'll be heavy college basketball like the last few shows have been. It was a week of buzzer beaters. I know it feels long ago. A lot has happened in the Big Ten title race, but we did have a crazy week of buzzer beaters for both teams. And then we have a little bit of Lions offseason talk, a little NFL draft talk too, just to tick 11.
Ooh,
we're having
mock draft today.
Mock
draft
I'll
today.
I'll be going
baby.
to the draft this year.
Oh, that's
in
right.
Green Bay.
In Green Bay.
You're going to go to that.
There. I'll be there.
Hopefully it's good weather. That's going to make or break the entire experience.
Well, Packers
in
top
Green
10.
Bay.
I forgot how bad they were.
Zinger.
No, we're going to trade that pick for a receiver.
Just re-sign a receiver.
I thought you guys were trading for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That's the pick. Okay.
We don't have any receivers we can re-sign. Unless you're mentioning Devontae, but that's for another conversation.
Cooper Kupp.
We'll briefly have some Pistons and Red Wings talk to round out the night. Red Wings is really dependent. I have the game going on here off to the side, down 2-0 already.
Keep it a
crucial
trial
stretch
or
of the year, so
might be dead.
Yeah, I think that auto renewed on. So I think I'm good for the foreseeable future.
There we go.
I think I'm in.
Nice. Yeah. It's almost playoffs, anyways. So
yeah, it's about almost April in the D too. We're less than a month away from April in the D.
I can't wait for that.
So good. All right, Connor, you get the honors since you are Alex today of telling us if there's anything notable that happened in your life. You did tease the group with something that happened hours before the show.
Yeah. Well, quick recap. I really didn't do too much. Got a haircut Friday.
Looks good.
Thank you. Saturday, I went to the movies, saw 2, used my AMC A-List membership to see the movie Last Breath. You might have seen a trailer of that. The deep sea one.
Oh, what about the sub or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Guy gets, they're working on an oil rig down in the deep in the sea, and then he gets like unattached, so he's like out of oxygen for 30 minutes. Have to try and rescue him like that.
Oh my
True
God,
story.
it's a nightmare. Well, wasn't it based on the one where those rich people went down in that one and they died?
The Titanic 2?
Is that what they called it? That little. That was a crazy internet story, and people did lose their lives.
It was not that. No, he actually lived. Sunday, watched a great Michigan State basketball game. That was very fun. Go green. Watched Michigan lose. Then watched and got a Shamrock Shake.
Oh,
nice Shamrock Shake.
Wanting to get one.
Sunday, watched the Oscars. Was a great presentation. Went 18 for 23 on my picks.
You feel like an Oscars pick guy. I should have known.
Film guru. But today, just such an idiot, honestly, for trusting humanity. I was at Target today, and I was walking down the frozen food aisle, and this lady comes up to me. She's not speaking fluent English. It's like in and out. And she says, "Sir, can you please help me? I need to buy baby formula for my kid." And she
Ooh.
has like a 3-year-old kid with her walking.
Okay. So it's
So-
checking out. It's checking out.
Checking out, and she's saying, I have a little baby too, and we're like living in our car. It's like anything you can do to help. And I was like, at first, I wanted to give her $10 or $20, but she said, "No, sir, no. I don't need any of your money, just some food, please. I will pray for you, sir."
Okay.
It's like, okay, you're really struggling right now. She like told me her Ukraine background story, how she just moved here. So I was like, okay, you know what? If this is true, I'm gonna ride the wave with you and help you out. So we go to the baby food aisle, and she gets so much stuff. She just starts loading up her little basket. And we get to the front, and I said, "You can scan your stuff first." Boop, boop, boop. Gets up to $450. So she's trying to.
Okay, first of all, Connor, you cannot let her scan her stuff first because then she just bails, and then you're stuck there, standing there.
No, it wasn't like that. But
She only had a basket though. How did she fill up, or did she have a full cart?
I know it was a basket.
How did you get $450 out of a basket?
So I'll continue. So it gets to $450, and I say, "I cannot help you that much. I will give you 2 or 3 things that you can scan because I'm not wanting to pay." Like, I was shocked at that number. I was expecting to pay $50 max. So we get a worker to come over, and I make him delete all the things on it, and then she scans 3 items that are all $50 each.
Smart woman.
So it is $150, and I paid it for her stupidly. And then she was like, "Connor, because she told me she was trying to chat me up too. She was telling me her whole story in her car and how is tomorrow going to be cold." So it's like, they're very smart. I'll give it to it. You have the little kid who's talking to me, and then they leave. And then I kind of realized like there's no way this was real. And so I talked to the guy working right next to me, and I was like, "I think I just got scammed." And he was like, "Yeah, we had something like this happen like a few days ago where people were scamming. They told the person to stop scamming, and then the people started screaming at the worker, got in their face and all like that." So I just got scammed out of $150 for helping a lady with baby formula.
But what? Okay.
So
Explain to Grant, like I'm dumb.
So
What
I
did
pay
she
it,
go
and then
do with that?
So when I told her that I'm not going to pay for $450, I pay for her 3 items, and she asks for the receipt because she wants to go back in the store and see if other people get stuff for her. So I gave her the receipt, but then I think she just left. So what they're going to do is they're just going to take in the receipt with those items, get it back, at $150 cash for her.
Oh.
So
I didn't know if there was like a black market for baby formula because I know that can be tricky sometimes.
Dude,
Seasonality.
check your credit
There was a
card.
shortage.
Check
Like if she was
your
going to
credit card
upcharge that.
information.
Yeah.
I looked up baby formula scam Target online, and there was some articles. So it's happened before.
Oh, no.
Some dude got scammed out like $800. So I'm just glad that I didn't let her pull it that fast. But it's still very depressing that I'm out $100-something for her.
There's also no chance that she was actually from Ukraine then, based if she's a scammer, right?
Probably not. No, I think that's just the scam. Like they say, you're Ukraine. Start to feel bad for you.
They play the hits. They just play the numbers they know. In your hometown friendly store of Target too, the sponsor of the entire state of Minnesota. That hurts.
Yeah, it's a nice Target too. Like usually that type of stuff is hard for me to fall for, especially if it's a dude. I'm not going to help you out. No offense, but I don't believe you as much. But inside like a super Target, a lady and her like 3-year-old kid, I really don't get the impression at all that I'm going to be scammed that day.
Could have been a
But
paid actor. He may not even been her kid.
and it sucks too if like she's actually a Ukrainian person seeking refugee in a car, like it needs this baby formula. But also it's all like powder. What is she going to do with it all in her car? I don't know.
I'm also
Maybe
really
that's just my
stupid.
blindness.
So if anyone listens to this, when it comes, I feel like by 3 years old, you're off of baby formula, correct? Or I guess
She said she told me all 4 ages of her kids, and one was like 6 months old, and then she had a 3. So it's like, all right.
Made, like, let me see the kids.
Let me see a
Ben?
photo.
No, yeah, that was my little naughty decision today.
Yeah. All right, yeah, checks out. You should stop using baby formula when your baby reaches around 1 year old. That's tough, Connor. I wish you're gonna have to make that up during March Madness. You better get hot during conference
I
tournaments.
know
and the
God
big
will be
dance.
looking out for me when I start pressing those buttons on FanDuel, especially since I'll be back in Michigan for the first weekend of March Madness. So
There you
I'll be
go.
freely betting.
Evan, any life updates for you?
Busy week. Weekend not too bad. I had a party for the athletic department.
Project X.
Kind of. Dressed up for that. Got made fun of for dressing up, but also got a lot of compliments. It was 80s themed, and I bought a jumpsuit, neon jumpsuit off of Amazon. Did a full 9 yards.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Was there an inspiration? Who are you trying to look like?
I have no inspiration. I literally went to Amazon and I typed in 80s men's party outfit or something, and it was like one of the first ones. I'll just send you guys the picture.
Probably like the same characters in Fortnite. I know I bought them, the 80s disco people.
Are you this on the left, Evan?
Oh, yeah, it looked almost just like that, Grant.
Wait, where'd you wear this to? Sorry, I kind of zoned out.
It's called the Cash Bash for the athletic. For the athletics, it's a fundraiser for the athletics / Indian fan club.
Nice.
Thinking about the kids. No harm in that.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
You fit in, whoever you took the picture with. I mean, you fit in.
I did some damage to myself there.
It's a good outfit.
Yeah. And then, let's see, basketball unfortunately ended for boys. Varsity ended last week on Wednesday. Lost a tough game. And then one more week of girls middle school basketball. Got a game Thursday. And then go right into baseball season on Monday.
Wow. For high school?
For high school. First day of spring practice on the 10th.
No, we got tryouts and cuts this year. We have enough for cuts.
It'd be borderline.
It's
I
always a
hate
tough day.
the way they set up the tryouts because it was always during March Madness for us. It's like, it's so painful. I remember Bollinger just coming in talking about the Loyola Chicago buzzer beater against
Miami.
Tennessee or Miami the first round?
Miami. You didn't watch the video I sent this weekend. Clearly.
I did not. I'm sorry.
Oh, I instantly clicked on that. I sat and wasted my 25 minutes right away.
They also had a
long
buzzer
video.
beater against Tennessee too, though. So
Yeah, the following game.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say it sucked because tryouts are in a gym. That sucked.
Well, yeah,
than the
but
fact
it
they
was
were going
worse.
on during games.
I think it was it must have been junior year, obviously, that I skipped one day of tryouts because
To
there was a
watch
Trig
March
Star
Madness.
tournament. No. You had, if you wanted to be in a Trig Star competition for pre-calc and calc, you had to go to at least one practice, and it was the first day of March Madness, and it checked out perfectly. So I did not try out and got to practice Trig Star and watch March Madness.
I don't even know what to do with that story.
Oh, that's great.
I'm starting to dive into the high school basketball tournament. Speaking of your profession, Evan, I saw Adrian won. They won their district tonight.
Yeah, they moved on. They play
regional semifinal. I'm sorry.
They
Or
play
past
Flat
districts,
Rock. Flat Rock. Game's probably almost over with, to be honest.
That's who they beat tonight.
They won already.
Yeah.
Oh.
They won by like 9 points, 8 points. It was tight, and then I read a reporter say that someone hit a three, and then Elam hit a layup, and they basically pulled away. And then the girls, the top 5, I think they're top 3 ranked in the state based on that. I was looking at that metric, Evan. I was deep in the weeds of that MHSA
NPR, baby.
metric today. Tecumseh's like 3rd in the state in that. They start their title run tomorrow night.
Yeah, so I think
Dundee.
if you remember some names on that for the girls, they have I think Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard's up there, I think.
Yes, they were number 1, and they're also in our division.
That was Chelsea this year.
They're also in our region, so we host them in region.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
At home at
That's
Tecumseh,
a bad.
though. Get through districts.
Right.
Boom. Regionals at home. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. Rematch from last year.
That's an unfortunate bracket, though.
It is very unfortunate.
Because obviously, like if this was truly March Madness, you don't want to face it. I'll pull it up for you guys right now. We're 3rd, and they're 1st. And then you got Nagani and Frankenmuth.
Grass Lake is a good team this year. That's the only information I know from
Not
So
a
I'm
division,
pretty
though,
sure
Connor. Don't worry about
Tecumseh's only
Oh.
loss
Why are they
is
up
to
there?
Rockford.
Correct. I was looking at that today.
What is this? Is this all divisions then?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the NPR rating
Good.
for all divisions.
How's Chelsea this year?
Not
Oh, they're right here.
yeah. So
They're
2
top
of their 4
20.
losses to Tecumseh.
That's what it's. Yeah.
But
No.
haven't played Richard
He's-
this year.
He's
Step
not still
down.
there?
He stepped down.
Oh.
New year for new coach.
We
What
haven't
puppy
played
got rid of him on
Richard.
Twitter?
We have not.
And then on the boys' side, I'm going to try to catch, the number one team in the state. They play at the gym 3 minutes from my apartment. Orchard Lake plays at Rochester Adams.
You need to see him because that's your recruit. Trey
I know.
McKinney's
I want to see McKinney. So star-studded event at Rochester Adams. I think they're going to play either Waterford Mott or Rochester High School. So Rochester High School versus Orchard Lake at Rochester Adams would be a cool environment. I think Orchard Lake should win either opponent by 30 based on their scores, but we'll see. You never know. So I'm deep. I'm deep in the weeds of the MHSA bracket right now. Let's see. Anything else for you, Evan?
No, that's about it.
For me, I didn't do a ton leading up until Sunday, Saturday. Marissa saw some friends, caught up with some friends, so I had some time to veg. I started Full Swing. I think I got like 5 episodes into that. That's when I sent that message about Bryson. Cool episode about the U.S. Open. I don't know if I have any like super crazy takeaways thus far. I wanted more. They do Ludwig Oberg in the first episode. I wanted more of him because I think I like him, and I think I'm going to bet on him this year to win a major plus 350. I think that's going to be a bet I make for the futures.
Is Oberg and Bryson the only new people to Full Swing this year?
I can't say that confidently. It was Gary Woodland's about to be on it he had like a brain health issue, and I think they do a very full deep dive into that of how he's been battling that. So I don't remember him being on the previous seasons. So as far as reporters, they threw Paige Sporanic into this season. Didn't see that one coming. She's like a commentator on the sport of golf. Yeah, she had some thoughts on Bryson, how he's changed and all that. So she's on there.
Is there any more news like on the merger? Do they go into any detail on the merger in that show at all, or not? Really?
They mentioned Liv like 3 times. It's really not about Liv. I think they beat that into the ground last year, and they said this year we're like staying away from it, and they just kind of talk about different players.
Arnold Palmer this weekend.
Good stuff. Nothing crazy, but it was cool to see some like players' reactions to the Scotty Scheffler arrest at the PGA Championship. That was a good sequence. Like again, there was no new like footage really. They didn't go in depth on it, but it was cool. A little bit more about Rory's divorce than I thought we were going to get. They kind of talk about what that's like to be an athlete and have everyone care about your personal life. And then my other takeaway, the Neil Shipley kid, so funny. They do a whole bit about his dorm room at Ohio State and how he's like going from that to playing in the Masters. And he's just like one of the funniest. He reminds me of Tom Kim from the other season where like he's just happy-go-lucky and everybody loves him. So he's a name that people will love after this.
Did he win the amateur 2 years ago?
Last year. He was the low am.
Oh, low am at the mat. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And he had it easy. I forgot. None of the other amateurs made the cut. So he was already low am by the end of the day Friday. So he was like, I already know I'm in Butler Cabin, so I just go here. And he played Tiger head up in his last on Sunday. That's who he got paired with, and he shot better than Tiger on Sunday. And he was just like, I can't believe
that doesn't take much nowadays.
Yeah, fair. But still, you can always tell your grandkids that. They'll have no idea. Like, I shot better than Tiger Woods one day. And then I watched 2 episodes of The Court of Gold, that Olympic basketball documentary that just came out from last Olympics. Evan, it's going to be big up your alley if you get Netflix or have a way to watch it on Netflix. Okay.
Do you like game shows at all? Like Survivor Us? No.
No, not really.
You should really watch The Traders, though, if you do on Peacock. Very good.
Marissa's sister watches that, and she loves it. I've heard good things about it. I'm watching The Voice this year. I've never really watched The Voice, but I've watched The Voice a little bit. John Legend, cool dude.
Who's the other? Is Levine back?
Yeah.
Levine's back.
Wow.
I had to look this up because I was sitting there. I was like, there's something that happened with Adam Levine. And I remembered it, and I looked it up. And remember he like got caught because he was like DMing
his girl,
some model, say like you look so hot or whatever. He wanted to name his baby after her, and I was like, I can't take him seriously anymore as I watched this.
Whatever happened with that story?
I don't know. Made it go away. Funny screenshots though, like that was a meme going around, like, oh, that body's so amazing, and then people would put like different bodies with it, which is so funny.
Just trying to talk, man.
And then lastly, my main thing Sunday. So I was fortunate to win a ticket raffle. So I got 2 tickets to the Michigan State Wisconsin game on Sunday. Found out Thursday night. So Marissa and I went to do that. Story time with Grant here. I have to throw one restaurant really far under the bus here. And I've never done this before. I've never talked badly about restaurants. Normally it's good about restaurants, but I'll set the stage. So we get $130 tip versus Wisconsin. It is spring break, keep in mind. So that did factor in. I was like, there's going to be less kids on campus overall. Probably not a ton. Like, there's still going to be enough there and people there. So it's still going to be busy. But we were like, if we leave here at 10 o'clock, get to East Lansing at 11:30, we should have a shot of getting in somewhere to eat in a reasonable amount of time before the game. Tried Crunchies, over an hour wait, packed to the gills. So no. Then we parked at Kellogg. So we wanted to just park, get done. So then we walked to Harrison Roadhouse from there, over an hour and a half wait, packed to the gills, Michigan State and Wisconsin fans. So then we're like, all right, we're meeting one of Marissa's friends from grad school and her boyfriend, and they were in a car. So they picked us up. They had called Barrio, and Barrio said, yeah, we have tables. Like, you can come sit. Yeah, options. We were trying to move fast.
No, that's shocking that Barrio is empty like that.
Well,
after this, they're going to be empty for the rest of the time.
So we walk in. They make us wait 10 minutes. It's fine, whatever. We get drinks from the bar. That went fine. Got drinks. Drinks were good. That's the one nice thing I'll say. Drinks were phenomenal. Go upstairs to the upper area, get seated. They have their menu. Like, their menu. You got to fill out the thing. They also have like a small breakfast menu. So I got 2 breakfast tacos and some French toast sticks they had, which sounded good because I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood for like pulled pork at that time. We sat down at 12:15. Okay, so that's important. We sat down at 12:15. Think you eat 45 minutes, 1 o'clock, walk to the game, you'll be fine, whatever. We did not see food handed to us until 1:26 p.m.
Oh.
1:26. So
how'd you wait that long?
So a lot of things going on.
That's stupid on your part, dude.
Well, so this is what happened. Time was ticking. 12:45. We're just like, okay, like what the hell, right? It's been a half hour since we kind of got the order in, and then people start clearing out of the restaurant. She mentioned to us, she kept reassuring us though the food was close, your food's on the line, it's almost up. Yeah, she said we only have 3 cooks back there. We're sorry if it's slower than normal, but your food is almost there. We're at one point we were all right, now it's 12:45. We asked her, can we just get to-go containers now? We're just going to pack it up and we'll either eat it walking to Breslin and throw it away, or we'll just put it in their car and we'll get it after the game. Because we were done with food at this point. Because it was getting
Was
too
it super
antsy.
Busy in there though?
No, not really.
Oh.
Especially from 12:30 on, there was only 6 tables being served by the time we ended up leaving. It died out because everyone was going to the game. And so we're all right. And then her friend's boyfriend goes down because they had their car parked across the street. So they still needed to park for the game. So it was just a logistical nightmare. He goes and gets the car ready. It comes to the point where we just aren't getting our food. We'd already paid too. We tried to pay in advance and check out. So we paid. Yeah, we were can we just get our bill? She's like, yep, all right, and then I'll bring it to you. You got your to-go things, and you guys will get out of here. It's 1:20, nothing still. So we just get up from our table, walk downstairs. We're standing right by their kitchen there by the bar, and we're like, hey, can we just get our food? If it's there, could you just pack it up? And the chefs are all nonchalant. They're oh, we got one more thing. And Marissa was just I don't care. It's whatever's made, just put it in the bag. We're going to leave. And then we got it in a bag. We left. They gave us 10% off our bill at that point, which was all right, whatever. Doesn't even matter. It wasn't a crazy bill. Food was not that expensive there, but the point was just what are we doing? We get the bag. We walk outside, drive up. Kellogg is fully booked to parking. So that's tough for our 2 friends. The one girlfriend, shout out to her, Saint. She's I'll drop you guys off outside the Breslin at the 1855 place there. We get out of the car. We walk in. We didn't even miss tip. We got into our seats as they were about to tip the ball off. So we were good. And then she parked, I think, at Fresh Time Market and walked back. And she only missed 3 minutes of the game. So it ended up not being the end of the world. But I can safely say I've never... And you can imagine this food. I tried eating one. The French toast sticks were fine. I tried eating one of the tacos on the way to the game quickly in the car. It was disgusting. It was cold. Bacon may have not been fully cooked. It was just a mess. I cannot.
What time did you place? What time did you fill out the paper and it get picked up?
It had to be by 12:25.
Oh, so it was an hour.
Good hour. Just nothing showed up for breakfast tacos.
Good hour.
Reminds me
tacos.
Tacos.
Evan, do you remember our Indianapolis Buffalo Wild Wings? That was about an hour.
That was miserable.
That was bad.
We almost just got up and left. Dine and
Thought
dash.
about it.
It's always right when you get up to leave, they have the food coming.
Yes, of course.
For you.
We ended up calling after we all got home, and each group got refunds on their entire thing. I still have to wait for that to hit my account, but basically explained like, hey, this was crazy. And they're like, yeah, we had a very bad day in the kitchen, so we'll refund it. So credit to them for that. But I told Marissa, I hold grudges. So unless like,
hey, shout out to you. I would have never called. I would just bitch and moan about it for the next couple of days.
I said I've never been the type to want to leave a Google review, but I can see why someone would. Like, that's what it would take for me to ever
Power
think
was
about
coming
leaving.
down upon you. Like, yeah, now is my time to shine.
Yeah, so bad. So I'm never going back there unless I'm with a group of people and like everyone wants to go, and I'll get a drink. Their margaritas are still fine, whatever.
Grant,
but
remind me, if I'm with you in East Lansing, I will never say the words Barrio in front of you, okay?
I'm going to hold a grudge for sure.
I will always just be, hey, Crunchy's never disappoints.
Yeah. Still have never been, unfortunately. I thought I was going to finally get to go. Still have never been.
Go into the road.
Best fries in East Lansing.
Might go next weekend. We have to do this again next weekend because we're going to see our parents who are they're going to the game. And I was like, Marissa, based on our lesson we learned, we need to be at these places at like 9 a.m. when they open for a new tip versus Michigan.
You lose an hour of sleep too Sunday.
I know. It's going to be a nightmare, Connor. I've already thought about that.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I have an update. I'll take notes, be a veteran, East Lansing veteran, and get better this weekend. But I guess quickly, as far as the game, I really had never been to Breslin. I've been to Breslin for a Michigan State basketball game once before in my life.
You went to the Butler game.
Yep. Connor, good callback.
Saw
That's the
Monty
game.
Bates win a state
Saw him there.
game.
So I've been to 3 total basketball games at Breslin, 2 Michigan State now. And the Butler one, we sat upper bowl, but it was almost like the mezzanine where the glass is. So
I
they were
remember
good.
the photo.
I had my legs, great leg extension on those seats. It was good. It's good seats, but these were nicer seats, and I felt like the weight and the noise of the arena on me a lot more. I was very impressed. I was like, damn, I could definitely like see how going to a bunch of games here and like, I don't know. When you sat lower bowl, I was like, this is awesome. So I was a little swept away in the green and white madness, especially that run you guys had to make it 58-50 and they cut the lights and started doing 7 Nation Army. I was like, oh my God, this is an atmosphere in here right now. It was nuts. So yeah, very, very cool atmosphere. The new scoreboard, it's not new now, but that big video board, that's very nice.
Change the opener, or is it still you want to win tap in?
Missed it, Connor. I missed it.
Oh, damn, that sucks. Yeah.
Barrio. You can blame Barrio for that. So, weekly sports headlines. Hop around here. Did any of you see anything of the NFL Combine? I didn't see a second of it.
I saw Will Howard.
I tried to watch it.
I saw.
And every time I try to watch it, it's just Rich Eisen up there talking, and I just hate his stupid face, and I can't hear his voice. So
is that Michigan related, or would it not matter where he went to school?
He just seems like an arrogant and like, I don't know. It's something
he uses big words. He does kind of give off that vibe.
And like, I get it. It's a combine. There's not much to talk about. So like, he's like trying to fill words, and like he like just like basically says the same thing, just three different ways right before commercial break, and it just pissed me off. And I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
I like him in his studio settings. Like some of his interviews he does, I like, and I'll listen on YouTube. But when I notice him where I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think he's overstepping when they have him do the London games at 9 a.m. I don't think he's a great
him doing that.
Yeah, nope. He's not. I think he might admit that. Like he's still learning play-by-play, or still,
Also, if you look to like watch highlights of games from like 2010 to 2015, like old ones, it's always Rich Eisen narrating it. Like every Packers playoff game I tried to rewatch, it was just always Rich Eisen.
Like on NFL Network, like they do.
Yes, yeah.
Speaking of commentators, nice segue here. I'm going to throw to Connor. I feel like you'd be very passionate about this. Did you see Jimmy Johnson retired? Age 81. He's not going to do Fox Studio anymore.
I saw a little montage of it. Honestly, it doesn't get my rocks going. I couldn't care less about that man.
Kind of crazy, though, that he did not outlast Terry Bradshaw. That seems like a problem.
Terry, what does he have? Did he have cancer, or what does he have?
I'm not sure.
Good Google moment.
But
no, I definitely agree. Jimmy Johnson seemed he was still all the way there. I never really thought like he was a Lee Corso or Terry where he just goes on little rambles.
He might, power rankings wise, maybe a little, but I would say Terry Bradshaw, Lee Corso, and a guy I noticed this weekend, Dick Vitale, are Spider-Man memeing right now of who's going to get off air first. And someone at the stations needs to tell them, hey, you know what? You guys did we love you. You're legends. You're Hall of Fame broadcasters. Probably time to hang him up.
How long was he at Fox?
31 years.
He just seems like a staple. Can you guess how old he is, too? I was stunned by how old he is.
85.
I may have said 81 already. He's 81, but he looks great for an 81-year-old with that fake hair.
Well,
that
he
is good
lives
stuff.
in Key West.
Does he actually live in Key
Yes.
West? Oh my God. That's like where I want to go there so bad one day. That just seems like my place.
He just drives his fishing boat around and just lives on Key West. That's all he does.
Damn, that must have been fun to work on that set then, to make him do that. Oh, and the money's obviously good, so that's fair. But damn.
Did they say they had plans to replace him, or are they just going to keep that spot open?
They already have all the people there.
I don't think they definitely don't
fairness,
need more
Jimmy
people. They have
Johnson's
like
been,
7
Add
people
Jay
on that set.
Glazer to the main panel.
He's been like part-time the last like couple years. Like he'd be like satellite calling in. He wasn't in studio as often as like 5-10 years ago.
He got his gold jacket while in the studio.
Correct.
That is a moment I remember.
They already have Gronk, and he's an idiot.
Could they get? I don't know who he's with, but Julian Edelman, I feel like is rising the ranks of on-air people.
Forget why not?
Yeah. So it's Terry, Strahan, Long, Gronk, and Menifee, right? Just those 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need a 6.
No. They would do wide shots of the desk, and it looks so comical with how many people they have crunched in there
Fox,
to talk.
Like, has their pre-show to the pre-game show, where like you have who's the blonde reporter?
Carissa Thompson.
Yes, I think so. And then like Michael Vick and like Reggie Bush, I think, and like Tony Gonzalez.
Michael Vick's come a long way.
And,
you say that name.
What's his name? Cowherd.
Colin.
Colin Cowherd. They do a pregame show for the pregame show.
I've never seen that show in my life.
You root for the underdog? Good luck with that.
We'll stay in football. 2 things. T. Higgins got tagged. I know we talked about him free agency wise.
Play all year. I'd sit out.
You get that money guaranteed then still, right? Or no? They can fine you.
No, you get fined. It's just
say you have a year-long case of diarrhea.
Bengals are just so stupid. 2 years ago, he was up for eligibility. 3 years, you can sign a contract extension. At that point, he would have been 15, 16, max $20 million a year. And now he's going to be close to damn near $40 million.
Christian Kirk makes 20 a year, right?
Yeah, but T. Higgins deserves a $20
No,
million.
no. I understand. I'm saying he's going to be way above 20 a year.
Correct. He's been closer to 40. He's going to be in like a Monroe territory after the year he had.
I really thought he was going to.
But didn't sign a contract, did franchise tag, back-to-back years.
I don't think
they come out with you can be able to do it twice. Has that always been a thing,
Yeah,
or is it
Kirk
just
Cousins got franchise tagged for the Redskins back-to-back years?
Good pull.
they sneak those things in the CBA like every year when they negotiate something. It's like, oh, they could do that now. But I don't think cheap owners realize that if you just bite the bullet and pay the guy like what Evan said, it actually works out better in the long run.
When he's due for it.
Yeah,
do it now.
like if
just
you
do it now.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if Brad Holmes just kept on like kicking the can down the road for like our top 3 players, and then when they're all due at the same contract, be like, yeah, we have no money.
Yeah. Other one, Stafford, Evan. This one's to you. Resigns with the Rams. Were you happy to see that, or were you thinking about him? And I kind of got excited thinking about him and Tom Brady teaming up in Las Vegas. I thought that would have been cool.
That roster is the worst roster in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
the worst roster. There's no talent on that roster. You have Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby, and
Amir Abdullah.
Exactly.
I think he played last year for them. I could be way off on that.
You got the best college football player. You have Brock Bowers, but
yes, and
Carroll.
Yeah, and Carroll. I would have liked that. I thought that would have been cool. We could have had some like Russell Wilson magic.
We got Chip Kelly's the offensive coordinator now. So
yes, that too. I was sitting there thinking about Stafford in that
quarterback
offense.
at the Raiders.
Yeah,
I was like, fly out every Sunday and go to the Vegas game.
What do you think's gonna happen with Rodgers? Do you think he's gonna go to the Giants? Nothing. Retire?
I think whoever misses out on like the quarterback that they want in the draft, he's gonna be like a late signing.
You think he for sure still wants to play?
I don't
think he for sure still wants to play.
I don't even think he knows.
What way would you tilt the teeter-totter? Him playing?
Retiring. Him not playing.
Okay.
I'd be 60-40 him not playing.
Why would he go to the Giants, too? Giants is supposed to be this hot landing spot.
Because the Giants don't have
bad
anybody
turf,
on
too.
roster.
Same turf he tore his
ACL
ACL
it's not going to go any better than the Jets. It's a worse situation.
I am not disagreeing with you here. I
know,
fully aware.
Connor, people want to play with Kayvon Thibodeau. That's what you're forgetting.
I mean, he is the most talented defensive end out of that draft.
Agreed.
I think it's more likely that Aaron Rodgers is like sitting co-host with Pat McAfee next year than he's playing.
Pat McAfee
in the NFL.
won't be on ESPN, so
I saw rumors
Why?
about that. The contract's
his
coming
contract's
up,
up.
but
It's
they got to
over.
re-sign him. They got to re-sign him. I think
They need to.
a lot of ESPN talent right now is looking at their paycheck like, oh god, I might be cut here. We got to make room for McAfee.
I better contribute here in the next couple of days where I'm gone.
Last NFL one, since we have a resident Packers fan. This is an old one, but Connor came out that the Packers are the ones leading the charge to ban the tush push. Thoughts on that as a proud Packer fan?
It's really stupid. I can't even back that up. It's a football play. If you can't, Packers are actually pretty decent at stopping the tush push too, which is why I was shocked they were trying to ban it. I mean, yeah, it sucks when you go up against it, but you can't ban a play just because it works. It's not, unless it can statistically show a higher increase in injury. What's the point?
Do we know who's leading the charge for this from your organization?
Mark Murphy. His ass is on his way out anyways, so he's probably just trying to make one more thing happen before he gets booted.
Mark Murphy, Packers. He is.
I actually, when I did
president and CEO.
when I toured Lambeau this year, I did
Not a big
see.
deal.
Not a big deal. Sick brag.
I was down in the locker room and I did see a happy Mark Murphy just holding a baby and taking a photo.
Oh, like a politician. The president of Green Bay. Literally.
But yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't think it's like, you're not going to get momentum with it anyways. So just getting your name out there, it's a bad stain on the organization.
Look,
Yeah,
if anything,
they tried doing it anonymous, and then it came out it was the Packers.
should be
That was
like
a tough
the-
look.
Nothing's anonymous.
Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders should like rally everybody together. Because those teams have to play the Eagles twice a year no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the offensive linemen of the Eagles that are tired of getting piled on should anonymously say we want to ban this play. Last two. One is basketball related. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. We joked a lot. I think honestly last year, I think when Wyatt was on a show, we talked about like the Pistons being so bad, like wanting them to relocate or switching fandoms. Am I crazy to think that quitting your childhood team and going to root for another team is something I would almost never be okay with? I was starting to think about that if I was a Mavericks fan and your ownership sold away your favorite player and then you have this happen to you. Like if the Pistons traded like Cade for Joel Embiid this year and then Joel Embiid gets hurt like he did and then
Like he
Jaden Ivey
always
tears
does.
his ACL like he has, like that's our situation and we've already been so bad. I would think about just like never being a Pistons fan again.
And the Mavericks increased their season tickets for next year by 8.6%.
That is
Or are you asking if a team was the first part of your question, if the Pistons moved to a different city, would you still root for them?
No, I kind of rambled. I was saying, do you think what's happened now with the Mavericks is enough to that rare case where you're okay with people jumping off that fan base and like being like, you know what, I'm going to be a Thunder fan for the rest of my life and giving them a pass because of how disgusting their ownership has treated the fans?
I think
It's all
no,
Mark
you're not
Cuban's
going to get a
fault in
pass.
investing in Bitcoin. This is all his fault. Just
think
remember
it's-
that.
Once you get to high school, once you go through puberty, I think it's a little weird if you jump ship on your teams.
I'm a
Even
late
though
mature, Connor.
I
Sorry.
would love to have. I really wanted to leave the Tigers because I'm Bruker at Tigers, but I hate everything about the Illich family. And
Everything.
same with Pistons. It's like out of nowhere, we just got this gleam of hope in the last 5-6 months that Detroit sports is worth something besides the Lions for the past few years. But I don't know how you can actually jump ship from a team unless they move from your city. I don't get it.
Yeah. Overall, I do agree with you. I'm just starting to think this could be that rare instance where I don't blame them for what they did with the trade, and now it gets even worse with injuries. I don't know. I'm just like, if the Red Wings trade Larkin for nothing, if the Lions trade Hutchinson for somebody,
Better.
There's no shot that would cause you
Oh.
to stop being a Lions fan. If they traded
You're prob-
Hutchinson,
you're probably right, but it's just, well, if the Lions traded Jameer Gibbs, we would have to ask Alex how he would feel because he loves that man. So I don't know, but everyone has those moments in your life where you would have to think in your shoes, like, it would be tough to be a Mavericks fan right now, and I'd be thinking about maybe pushing the emergency card and being a fan of someone else.
no.
All right, fair. Appreciate you playing the other side. Last one, quickly. Evan, there are a lot of college football fans around the country. that may not have seen what happened today. But what would you tell them, the hands that they're in now that Mark D'Antonio is a member of the CFP selection committee?
The committee have finally gotten smarter, and they're in better hands than they have ever been. And an honest man, trustworthy man, will lead and pick the most deserving and best teams properly.
Do you think he's going to command that room?
He should.
I think he's going to be really quiet, but when he speaks, everyone is listening.
Like, I just don't need non-football people in that room ever again.
Can I ask you a tough
For how
question?
much shit I talked about it and saying that I just need to go to BCS, and that popped up on my feed this morning, and I was like, God, I can't do this. It's like, I can't do it. Like, I can't go back on my words. I just full 180 swing into it.
Connor's browser needs screen sharing permission?
No, I don't need it anymore.
Oh, okay. I was like, what does he need?
I was just thinking of Gary Barta. That's who Ward took over, right? As the head.
I don't know who was before. I wanted to ask
Iowa
Evan.
dude.
I don't know who greenlit this, but what if Ward Manuel picked him to be on the committee? Are you now 10% happier with Ward Manuel?
No. I mean,
Okay.
Ward's a liar.
But a man of integrity if you put him on the board.
Well, Ward got the savior of the basketball program and the savior of the football program to leave that program, so I'm not too mad at him.
True. Own worst enemy.
Dusty May, good coach, though. Sharon,
Good recruiter.
good recruiter.
All right, let's get into college basketball now. The fun stuff. It's March. Welcome to March, everyone. March
Wait, what?
4th.
What month is it?
March. Oh, you're going to do the
Izzo.
Izzo bit?
Izzo.
It is Izzo right now. It is Izzo right now.
Izzo 4th.
Since our last recording,
That's good.
Michigan State, we'll do them first since they're on the streak right now. They won 58-55, a race to less than 60 points at Maryland on the obviously amazing buzzer beater, and then beat Wisconsin. We kind of mentioned that in the check-ins, 71-62. I want to start with Maryland quickly. I know it's hard. It was a crazy game, but it was so long ago, it's harder to fully recap everything. My main thing was, how did you guys react when the buzzer beater went in? Where were you at? Talk me through it.
Last 3 minutes is when I started to stand up and start doing my Izzo fist bump and just silently cheering. And I just kept checking our group chat throughout it because that's when things started going sour.
I
We
lit
just
that
started
thing up.
blowing it.
I didn't even mean to.
No,
You got
not-
us hot and heavy bothered, Grant. You definitely did. It was a comment in the main group chat, and then it was a couple side comments in our private one.
Cody was the most enlightened by that conversation. It was just started dwindling, and I strive to be a positive person. I'm not in sports at all with the teams I like. Obviously, you know that, but it felt like something where Maryland was going to be on the end, getting that lucky shot at the end. That's the way the tables were turning. But then, just out of stupidity, Maryland took an awful three with still 5 seconds left, and we were gifted a beautiful shot from Jiggy, and that's when just the sirens started coming out of my mouth. That was a very fun game. Goldie was saying it was a top 3 MSU basketball memory of his life.
Just
Wow.
recently been a Michigan State basketball fan.
I agree, and it was a great moment, but I still think any March Madness win trumps a regular season win, especially when unless it's clinching the Big
Any
Ten or
March
something like
Madness
that.
victory,
Yeah, I would say in that
Mississippi-
moment,
Mississippi
I'm still
State
riding a
last
high
year
the rest of
didn't do it for me.
Okay, but I would think the Davidson win, that trumped their one for me.
I mean, Foster is pretty good.
Evan's biased on that one.
That Maryland game trumps the Davison win.
I don't really have much else to say about the Maryland game, if I'm being honest, just besides the first half was just so painful to watch.
Slugfest
Really
of
even
the
a
game.
good section of the beginning of the second half too, but second half team, shots started falling.
Same thing, but Maryland only scored their points down the stretch from the free throw line. Still didn't give up a field goal basket from the field in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
We just had bad turnovers. From Holloman, he had one of the worst turnovers.
That was crazy turnover.
But
But for a great moment, he set himself up for a great moment.
and they were getting 2 for 1s, 1 for 2s. We missed a couple free throws. I just got home from where was I? I think a district game. Yeah, it was on Wednesday, district boys game. Got home. I had probably watched the last 10 minutes. feeling fine. And then I was like, Connor, like, we're going to blow it. This is the game. We're going to blow it. And I was sitting down just relaxing. Well, I sunk into the couch after Kohler missed a wide open layup. Screamed for a foul because Cooper, I think, was still in there. Got dragged down from his head from behind. No foul.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He shoots it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's it. Sink into my chair, into the couch. And then, you do the nonchalant, oh, here comes a half-court shot. In my head, I'm like, oh, here's overtime. And then when he made that, I screamed like a little girl so loud and so many times. Like, my throat hurt the next day.
Really?
Yes.
Did you know it was in right when you kind of crossed half court? To an extent, you usually know if it's going to be close or not based on the trajectory.
And body
It looked
language.
pretty solid, a good amount of the way.
I was not expecting to ever see that ball go through the hoop.
And then after that, it kind of set off my reaction when Michigan shot it in Tennessee. It's like it's just going in. From now on, just buzzer beaters will always go in. That's my expectations.
Spears, it's not Holloman. That shot barely moved the net. Like it was probably the most pure, like buzzer beater from that distance I think I've ever seen. Like the net barely moved.
Biased that I was just like, well, ours was longer because Michigan did it the next day.
That upset me.
The first thing in my head was like, it goes in. I was like, well, Holloman's was longer, and ours was on the road.
Definitely more improbable. I think I sent, so for the group chat stuff, I learned some lessons. I've been taking notes. And I think this is good for the group chat to work through because it's been a couple of years since both of our teams were worth a shit in basketball. So I think we're all learning each other's intensity. So like in the past, if I have thrown out this game's over for 8-7 Michigan State team, nobody really gives that much of a shit. And obviously, it just sucks because I want Butler to be good first and foremost, but they're in hell right now. So I put my eggs back in the Michigan basket. Now Dusty's here, and they have this magical season. And lo and behold, you guys have to have an even more magical season. It couldn't be like Purdue. Like I couldn't just sit here and watch, or like Michigan be terrible and you guys, like if Michigan sucked, it was like last year and you guys had the year this year, I wouldn't be doing any of that. But I've openly said, like, obviously, since we're in the title race, I want Michigan State to lose every game they play solely for that. Like I hand on the Bible, if Michigan sucked, I wouldn't be trying to throw out jinxes and rattle people up because I don't. It doesn't really matter. Like my team sucks.
I think was Cody the only. I don't get mad at jinx stuff. I think
Alex,
it's fun.
I don't. They're not like really mad, but it is annoying. I understand it's annoying. Alex hates it. I know Luke was annoyed, and I get it. Well, I was seeing the Fears 3-pointer stuff. He's the one. I think I sent it when he hit that 3 to go up 7 with 3 minutes left, and I was having flashbacks to the Michigan game. And you guys were on a run, and I was just like, oh, that game belongs to State, which it ended up working out. It was a crazy collapse. They really should not have gotten to that point. I couldn't believe it, and I actually started to feel guilty. I was like, damn, like they actually might blow this game.
You did not feel guilty, dude.
A little bit, because I felt the heat. I was like, oh, so I made my notes. One, I learned early in the year: do not say free hoops if it involves Michigan State. Don't talk about free hoops.
That was funny.
Unless Michigan State is the one
pissed off about it.
Unless Michigan State is the one who comes back to force overtime, then I think free hoops plays. I think free hoops plays.
I think it would play.
And never mention jinxes if we're in the heat of a title race. Never mention jinxes.
I was just upset you didn't acknowledge me talking about Brian Kelly.
That was funny. That was funny.
I missed that, man.
It took me a second to really. I had to call back to the trip.
Trip started 4 months ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, what does he mean? I was like, oh yeah, Brian Kelly. And I was explaining to Marissa, and she's like, what does that mean? I was like, you had to be there. So that was crazy. That really was just a wild. All the clips that came out after that. Celebration, the slow-mos, the reactions of people, the amount of surrender cobras. Darren Ravel was there for some reason.
That was just SVP was on the court.
Yes.
Courtside.
He had to go to work that night. Then he had to drive back to the studio. I'm sure it's not that long, or train or helicopter, or private jet, or whatever he has to do.
It wasn't true. I can't stop smiling. Like I couldn't actually stop smiling watching those over. I'm not even shitting. It was very fun.
I was so happy.
Couldn't stop smiling.
And then we pivot quickly to Wisconsin, win that game. From being in person, I just kept. There's a lot of people that played solid in that game. Jackson Kohler.
I have a question first.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, you're in the stadium. I'm watching it with my father and my brother. Just coming off the Maryland High, coming off it's a Sunday. Our boys on the call, and we get down early. We're not playing well at all. But what was the atmosphere vibe like when it's 12-3, 14-5, or whatever it was?
I think nervous energy, but it probably felt longer on TV
Oh, it felt like
than
forever.
it did in person, because then we hit that stretch where like Aikens goes ballistic, and then it felt like we were back in a madhouse, like in a it didn't like slowly build. Was that first?
I think it was before. I think it was 13-5 when
I'm
Carr
looking now. 13,
got that reverse
13-6 on the dunk, and then you get a 3, 13-9, a 3, 15-12, jumper 15-14, and then he hits another 3 to make it 17-17. So on TV, I can see how it felt long and felt bad. But once we hit 12 minutes to go in the first half, on that build, it was just a madhouse from there. And then it was kind of like just sweaty back and forth. It felt like, I mean, obviously there's been, ever since Alex said that stat about Michigan State's opponents always shoot worse from 3 than Michigan State does, I couldn't get it out of my head. And Wisconsin was just playing F it, chuck it from the 3-point line.
And they ended up shooting?
They shot 5 of 32, 15.6% from deep. They just let those things fly. And some of them were open, but it's still credit. I'm going to give it more credit to Michigan State's defense, where like, I think I figured it out. I think your guards just speed people up so much on offense that even if they're kind of open for a 3, they're like panicked to get it off in time because they're already playing at 100 miles an hour. And that's what people shoot so poorly. That's the only thing I can explain.
You're thinking Final Four then for us.
My biggest thing I can explain is the amount of depth we can run at guards. So, like, you have 4 guards that you can trust to go out there, and that at one time nobody's out there for longer than 10 minutes on their shift, basically, where they don't have to guard for too long. They don't
you guys are playing hockey
for offense and defense.
You guys are playing hockey, basically. Just get out there, line change.
What I also do like offensively from Michigan State is we kind of have a formula offensively of motion offense, screen, move the ball around, okay, and then attack it downhill. And it's either a lob kick to the corner or lay up in the paint. I just like that we have something, and like previous years it was, okay, we try to run a set play, this shit doesn't work. Now it's a screen. Nope, call them off. It's ISO ball, and this shit's either a turnover or a bad shot. So I just like the movement of the guys now.
Hats off to Kohler. I know you're about to go into it, Grant, but
no, go ahead.
Aikens he's the most important player on this team in order to go forward, because the 8-0 stat when he scores above 15 points. We've won in spite of his poor offensive showings, but if he can at least hit 4 threes a game, you're going to win a lot of the time.
Yeah. Credit to him also, like, best defensive player on the team as well. He clamps.
Yes. That was the Jackson Kohler game. I mean, dude's just a little vacuum down low.
I really
the white
don't get
toilet,
it.
man. I mean, he is a stud down low.
I'm
really interested in, like, what?
I just don't. From watching him, I don't get it. Like, he's not like he's not the biggest. I'm
interested on a Michigan fan's perspective. It's like, when we watch him from freshman year to this year, it's like he was just this clumsy little Mohawk man who has some really good skills down low, but it was hard to see execution. He had the footwork, and now he's grabbing all these boards. And I really want him to be this annoying white guy that Michigan's had every year. And I think he really is that guy because he pumps up the team, and he pumps up himself first. But from a Michigan fan perspective, are you like? I still see the guy. I know he's good, but are you scared of him seeing him on the court? I guess that's my question. Like, do you recognize how good he actually is?
Rebounding more than anything. Like, I still, not to jump too far ahead to Sunday's preview, but if I'm game planning for this team, I would rather live with him shooting a couple open threes and having an Illinois game versus me than like putting my attention elsewhere. Like, I'd rather try to clamp down Jace Richardson and other people on your team. And like, if Jackson Kohler's going to score 25 points and beat me, totally fine going to sleep at night with that. It would suck to watch him yell that many times because he's animated, but I love that I know he's a rival, but like, he's like a Mitch McGarry to me. He's like that energetic white big that just does all the dirty work. I'm more just fearful of how much he cares on the glass. Like, it's the joke of, I kept thinking of the Last Dance when Dennis Rodman's talking about that clip of him grabbing rebounds. Like, that's Jackson Kohler this last like 5 games. He just knows where to be. He'll come from crashing from the 3-point line after setting a screen, and he'll just like sneak by Stephen Crowell. And it's not like Wisconsin, they have huge dudes too down low. They have like big 7-footers they can throw at you, and he just sneaks by him, uses his like leverage, almost like a football analogy where like low man wins, gets him out of the way and grabs the rebound. And he's so good at kicking back out too. That's the thing. He's not rebounding
except for against UCLA
and going back up, maybe against except UCLA. But I feel like he kicks super well. Emotional leader. One body language thing I noted after the game is I don't think he was out there for the very, very last play. He might have been, but he was far away. And it was either Fears or Akins or maybe Jace was like by themselves around half court, and they were happy, like clapping like to the crowd. And Jackson ran up to him and like pushed him in the chest and was like flexing, screaming at him, getting him fired up.
Dude's
like that's
nuts.
like how much the emotions, like he's that guy for this team where like he'll bring like the crazy out of other people too.
I was really hoping that his impact, the impact Fuller's brought is what I really expected from Booker this year. Not like emotionally, but definitely physically and actually in the game. It's disappointing to see your 5-star get 4 minutes a game.
1-3 a game though, and it always matters.
March.
He's always good for that 1-3 a game.
But credit to Cooper too. He's really showed out compared to last year on the pick and rolls. Man, so many oops this year. I'm glad he's laying them down too.
The only thing you
opportunity
do
to
is
see him start missing those oops.
dunk a basketball.
I need like a
And
full
it's
montage
awesome.
of his oops on loop, just like boom, 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 boom.
He plays really good defensively. Let's be honest. That's why he's out there.
Yeah.
His length is a problem for most post players. So
He does. He has long arms. You really notice that. Jace in person, he does. He just looks like he's moving like a half. Like when you watch the YouTube video on 1.25 speed, that's how it looks like when he dribbles the basketball.
dude,
It's just
every
like
time he made a
inch
basket.
bouncier.
Okay, so I watch it with my dad, and my dad's just hell bent on like just get the ball to the best player. So every time Jace made a basket or did something good, my dad would just move up his draft position just by one. He'd be like, oh, 15th, going 15th. And then Jace makes a three or does something else. Up, going 13th. And then he got up all the way up to like 8 or 7 or something. He's like, yep, he's a top 10 pick now. I was like, God, Dad, please don't. Like one more year.
Yeah, absolutely is though. He's not coming back.
If
He's
you look at
coming
the, like he had his foul trouble, so he only played 21 minutes, but he had an efficient 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in 21 minutes of play. 3 of 6 from deep. Like if he plays 30
What was
minutes,
his plus minus?
I don't know. ESPN's not showing that here, but like if he's playing 30 minutes, he's probably having close to 20 points based on that trajectory with the amount of times he'd shoot in over the 9 minutes. It's just he's so good. 2 quick questions for you, big picture wise. They kind of go together. You have to be honest with yourself. Alex isn't here. He would say yes because he's just always like maximum optimist.
He's the opposite of me, correct?
Yeah, if you close your eyes, could you have pictured this stretch after losing to IU at home?
No.
No.
It's crazy. 5-0. And dare I say unbelievable, but going 5-0 in this stretch.
I always think
It's
that we can
crazy.
beat Michigan. I always do.
Right,
Regardless
of
of the sport. Regardless of the sport. It's just those road Big Ten games, especially the weekday games. Like going into Maryland, I expected to fully lose. Then obviously you had the lead and what happened, whatever transpired. I just expected to lose. Oh shit, we got down by 16 in the first half to Illinois. We already talked about Four Nations was on. I was ready to turn the Michigan State game off.
Yeah, I forget about that start sometimes.
Just the road games I just don't expect to lose. Or don't expect to win.
To win,
Excuse me.
yeah.
I would have never guessed that. Alex has mentioned on this podcast about calling out somebody in our group chat for the comments he made after the Indiana game, and that person
No.
right
That was in the middle of the Illinois game.
That person is sitting right in front of us. And would you like to
Yeah.
would you like to share to Grant what you said and to the rest of the people?
I would like to, well, it was when we were down 15 to Illinois.
So was that one
First
of
of
your darkest
all-
moments of the year? Or the Bowling Green game, the first game of the year? Was
Bowling Green game got to me worse. That game, Alex pissed me off beyond levels I've experienced.
That was a testing moment in the group chat too.
I think it's important to note that you can't take opinions or takes from me mid-game seriously. I think we've seen that before.
You wear your emotions on the sleeve, Connor. I always
With
never doubt
Packers,
you about that.
But I texted my mom the same thing when we were down 15. We're not going to win another game this year. 0-6. It's like, I don't see how we win another game. And
Maybe Iowa. That was the only game that
Maybe
Michigan State
Iowa.
was going to win the rest of the year. Maybe Iowa.
It's such a weird makeup of a team to where the beginning of this year I didn't think we were even going to make the tournament, to then I'm thinking, okay, we're going to be second weekend, and then I'm 0-6 the rest of the year. We're going to be like an 8 seed in the Big Ten. It's just such an up and down roller coaster. But now I'm firmly Elite Eight for sure. I think before the Maryland game, I said if we can beat Maryland on the road in a game that makes so much sense for us to lose. I mean, it's typical college basketball, and then just keep standing up, standing tall, come back against Wisconsin. I mean, this team has the makeup, I think. Elite Eight. I'm starting to think Final Four, depending on our region.
Yep, amen. Avoid Auburn and Duke.
Auburn and Duke. I also saw one where Joe Lenardi had us screwed. Auburn's region, we're the 2 seed. St. John's is the 3 seed. I think that is the biggest nightmare ever. But put us in Tennessee's region. Put us in a 3 with, oh God, who are even the 3 seeds? Iowa State, I don't really prefer to play. But yeah, I'm all the way back on the wagon. I just keep jumping off mid-game, jumping back on after. But
I just want to be in the Midwest. I want to be that kind of...
Texas Tech could be a 3.
Wow, Beaver.
Yes, that close to home Indianapolis kind of draw. I get on paper Florida's probably better than us, but like putting us out west kind of makes us feel like we're the worst 2 seed. Which, I mean, you could argue, I guess. But the SEC starts to beat each other up.
I think we can beat anyone, but I think Auburn and Duke are the only 2 right now where it's like I would go in expecting to lose. Playing Florida, it'd be a scary, anxious matchup, obviously, because it'd be in that Sweet 16 zone, but I'd still think we can win this game. And obviously, if we play Duke, I'm still going to say we can win, but I would probably not bet on us to.
Be a nice year for you guys to get, like, avenge your Texas Tech demons if they were a 3 seed and just smack them around.
I saw a bracket today, and it was all rematches. It was literally all of our rematches of the previous years. It was like Mississippi State, Marquette, and Texas Tech all in the same. Like that's what we play.
I think that was Lenardi's today. Yeah,
probably
or yesterday.
I got so excited. I looked at Lenardi's this morning before he released a new one. He updated on like the 28th midday, and it was the biggest cakewalk for Michigan State to like make it to an Elite Eight game, Final Four game.
You have to say it. So if it ever
Kansas
comes to fruition,
against Nebraska.
I don't feel good about that.
Connor,
it's March still. It's still a scary team you don't want to face.
Still bad. Kansas is not good.
Doesn't matter. I would not feel good about it.
I see both sides. They are kind of a mess, but
we played Robert Morris. Then we played.
You definitely don't like playing the teams with a bunch of talent that were supposed to be good that did make it because they could just flip a switch for a game, and then you're like, oh God,
not flipping a switch. Who's the 3 seed that we were supposed to play?
Texas
Tech.
The
2 with the 7 seed was shit.
St. Mary's. St. Mary's was a 7-10 versus Indiana. I think that's what Jerry Palm had us today.
All right, I don't mind
Indiana
that.
around a 32 would be.
Lenardi doesn't update his stuff enough for being a guy whose only job is to do March Madness.
In March, he does start doing it every day, I believe.
Yeah, but I need it like every 3 hours, Connor.
Correct. I need it every 3 hours.
Like after the 7 p.m. window ends, there should be a pre-9 o'clock window.
He does that starting Big Ten tournament week, so next week you'll get that.
I mean, but dude,
I don't give a shit. Do it now. What else are you doing?
Nothing. Like if he had John Rothstein or someone else's work ethic, he could be even bigger.
Like he's got to highlight his like color-coded sheet of like what time the games are on.
Yeah, I mean, God, dude, it's not that hard to do.
Have you read his book?
No.
This might be too hard to ask on the spot, but to wrap a bow on your guys' stretch of games here, does it feel? I think it's the fun thing to say, like, oh, it's got to be Izzo's best coaching job. I don't know where it ranks to other ones, but it feels, at least on paper, I think you guys were picked to finish 5th in the Big Ten, like by Vegas odds and some preseason articles I went back and read.
Remind you.
On
some of them. Some of them, that's true, Evan. Some Michigan was like 7th on some of the ones I read.
People were still picking Purdue to win the Big Ten.
I think preseason that's a smarter.
Purdue and Indiana were the top 2 teams going into the Big Ten, and then Illinois was there as well. But I don't know, Evan. Do you feel like it's got to be like one of Izzo's best coaching jobs? With
this one, 2015, I would say would probably be up there. For a guy that's had some great success in the Big Ten, he has not won Big Ten Coach of the Year that often.
Do you think
Interesting.
he's going to triumph over Dusty this year, though?
I think he deserves to.
Yeah, especially if they beat him twice.
Yeah. Who
It
did you go
should be
to
what
last
happened.
year?
Dusty handpicked his team.
Like,
from
what's the
portal.
trends of it? Is it usually teams that, like, lower... Like, did Hoiberg win it last year or something?
I don't
think
know.
So.
Or
I think
Painter?
there was a share. I think it was Hoiberg and somebody else shared it.
Chris Collins won it one year. I don't think it was last year, though.
I'm on it right now.
He won it because he barked on the court on all fours.
Matt Painter and Fred Hoiberg co-shared it last year, which I don't know how that
There we
works.
go, Evan. Nice job.
And then it was Chris Collins, then Greg Gard, then Juwan Howard in
Assassin.
2020. Juwan Howard, Big Ten Coach of the Year.
Fired.
Richard Pitino won it in 2016 for going 11-7.
I don't think he had 1 year over 500 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Tom Izzo hasn't won it since 2011.
It's Izzo's time then. I mean, I've only been a
2011.
Michigan State basketball fan the last 5 years. This is the only year he's actually even showed up to coach, so gotta give it to him.
Okay, Connor. He just had bad apples, dude. He had bad apples.
Sure.
And he tried coaching them hard, and there's clips of them during Big Ten tournaments, like laughing in their coach's face, like they're high after they just hit a joint. So, I mean,
Like they're high?
yeah, like
Probably was.
Quickly, Michigan, before we get into Sunday, had their buzzer beater versus Rutgers. As a Michigan fan, that was an infuriating game to watch. Just played atrocious defense. Like couldn't stop a straight line drive
Except
for their
for like
life.
the last 8 minutes you did.
Rutgers eventually started missing shots, which I felt was going to happen in my gut. They do have two NBA players, but they were shooting an absurd clip from the field. They were shooting like 70% from the field at halftime. So I was like, well, they are Rutgers. They're not going to shoot. They'd be better than this if they shot that consistently. So it really wasn't our defense getting better. They just started missing shots. So snuck that one out. I was happy for Namari Burnett. I think of all the players on that team, he's my favorite. I think he's very humble, works hard. He was there during the Juwan years. He stayed when it would have been easy to leave. I think he's gotten better each year. His shot's funky, but somehow he makes it work. So very happy for that moment. That was cool. I mean, objectively speaking, if you told me before the year that after the shit that our two teams have done the last couple of years, obviously not, that could be worse. Like Michigan State was still making a tournament. Michigan really bottomed out. They had a crazy roller coaster peak and then kind of dropped down. But to get back to this point where like just in terms of theater, I know people were at each other's throats because everyone in the state wants to compare the teams to each other. It's very clearly Michigan State's a better team overall, but like you get the dynamic that Michigan's hanging around. I get how it's frustrating, but objectively, theater-wise, to have back-to-back nights of buzzer beaters was awesome. And then, go ahead.
Was last show after the Nebraska game then?
Yeah, but we talked about it for like a second because it was so disgusting.
All right.
Yeah. So this stretch of getting away with it finally comes to a halt to Brad Underwood, my father, 0-9 versus him in the last 9 matchups.
That's a crazy stat.
Simply can't beat. Juwan never beat him. Juwan was in the building again, so I don't know if that plays a 50% role in them not beating Illinois.
Come on.
Senior night before the final home game, getting that Sunday matinee. I think, good question. I think since it was Sunday, they could like have the festivities better.
Weekend.
Bigger premiere spot, host the families. So
families
whatever.
Be in town for all weekend, Connor. Come on, think about the families.
The families. So they lose that one big time. This was a game. I was driving back from East Lansing watching it on my phone. When Illinois went up 20 with 5 or so to go, I just completely turned it off, which I don't often do. I was so disgusted with their rebounding. I was like, well, this game's done. I'm going to go watch episode 2 of Court of Gold. And then I was so disgusted. I didn't even look for the final score until like 3 hours later. I was like, oh, it ended up 93-73. Like I really was so annoyed with their performance in the second half that I turned it off. But they just got outworked by Illinois. Illinois came in. I guess that's what Illinois does. They crash the glass. They're like one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. And they finally
shot
threes
well.
too.
Yes.
Yeah. Which compounded because they were getting those classic Jackson Kohler rebound kick out to Trey Howman type threes. That's all they were doing in the second half. We couldn't rebound anything. I mean, really, what was it? They had 19 offensive rebounds. 19. Out rebounded overall 43-32.
I mean, at some point you were due for it, though. It's like you escaped Nebraska and Rutgers. I'm sure they'll take that and the loss to Illinois. I mean, really, 2-1 after the display performances in those 2 games, they'll take it.
By 20, no. But
and you can
control. No,
counts
I'm
the
with
same.
you, Connor, though.
Control your destiny still to get a share of the Big Ten. So
yeah,
I don't know how you feel about Maryland.
It's gonna be good.
I'll let
It's gonna be
you
all
go more
right.
with your Michigan. Who does it? What is this? Does this Michigan team remind you of anyone's in the past? Like, I'm curious your standpoint. And
The
does this give any type
2022
of
Minnesota
feeling?
Vikings. Yeah,
No.
exactly that team. That lost to Daniel Jones in the playoffs after winning the NFC North when they won each game by like 2 points and they had a point differential was basically negative.
You haven't
'Cause
moved off like a top seed line to get upset, though.
last week, I know you mentioned. Do you see this team as like fraudulent, good, scraping by? I don't think they're really good at all. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole to you, but I just don't see it at all. I think you out of any team probably has the best chance to get into that 5-12 upset, especially if you're taking on the Fighting Will Wades. 4-13. For some reason, Paul Lenardi has you as a 3 seed today. I don't know how that's possible.
We're on bracket matrix. We're the second top 4 seed. So I don't know. We
Okay.
could.
So the
I
4
like the
5
4
is
spot. It's
probably
been
what
good
you're
for
going to
us.
get.
I like the
Right.
4 spot historically.
I just don't see it. I don't see the guard play happening. I see Golden getting more intimidated in the tournament like he did last year. Danny Wolf, winner of the Yale Whale from last year. I'm sure he can help carry you this year, but
Didn't play good in that game,
I
but
don't
he
know
has
if you-
experience.
I mean, I think beginning of March, you kind of have a vibe of your team if you have belief or not. And I'm interested in if you had to put $50 on it right now to make the Sweet 16 or get bounced in the 64-32, where would you lean?
The cop out is I need to see the matchups because I do think there's a real
about the
path for
draw.
this team to make
Clemson.
somewhat.
Clemson 4-5 or Missouri? I'm interested how you feel against those two.
I think we win. I haven't seen Clemson play a lick of basketball, but that's so disrespectful of me to say. But I hear Clemson, I think football team, and so
Elite
I
Eight
think
team
we're
last
okay.
year.
Elite 8, yeah, good squad.
Damn.
Returning
maybe.
their post
So,
player.
Here's the thing with Michigan. They're kind of two different teams. Their best stretch, honestly, was ironic because they did lose a couple of the games. They lost to Oklahoma and Arkansas back in the early in the season, but they were still playing good. And obviously their West Coast trip where they just smacked around UCLA and took care of business there. That was the peak. They beat Wisconsin on the road. There was a version of this Michigan team where, yes, the guard play was bad, but Danny Wolf was doing the 4-5 pick and roll, and they did it to death against Wisconsin, and it didn't matter. They didn't have a strong guard at the time. And he's just, I don't know if it's the gauntlet of the Big Ten stretch. He just looks a little off and he probably would even say that, just like the layups he was getting, the angles he was getting off of the pick and rolls, he's not making anymore. He seems more sped up. It's not like his turnover situation has gotten better, but like finishing at the rim has been bad. But there is this thing that can happen in college basketball where fully hand up, I want them to go as hard as they can these last 2 games, and I don't care if we get bounced round 1 in the Big Ten tournament. I actually think that could be, with how thin this team is, playing basically 6 people, I think it'd not be bad to get like 5, a week off before you play in the dance. And there is a world where we have to remove ourselves from Big Ten play, and we find a team that isn't crazy physical or isn't great at offensive rebounding, and that 4-5 pick and roll just like people up for 2 games. Like it really could, and he's back in his form. It's just all, if we play a tough team that bangs on the glass and can shut us down, don't love it. But if we play Kentucky, I know they're flashy. They don't play a lick of defense. Like that's a matchup that we could outscore them potentially to win.
It's also I don't think they haven't won a game by like 5 points since that Minnesota half court shot. So it's been almost 2 months since you've even won a game by 5 points.
Correct.
I don't think that's going to translate well
January 12th.
And Izzo, as we already are.
But you could flip that, Connor, where like they figured out ways to win a lot of games with 5 minutes to go.
And you can flip that again to Minnesota Vikings. So
yes. No, again, I think
it's a complete
really
unknown.
it'll come down to the matchup of if this team is good at turning people over and if they're good at offensive rebounding, going to be a long night probably. But if you play a team that's not strong in that, Michigan does have the talent with that Danny Wolf pick and roll where it's so unique, and we get stuck in conference play where that scout's been out on them since when they featured it against Wisconsin December 3rd. They pull off a game at not Camp Randall, at the Kohl Center because nobody's seen it in the Big Ten yet. And now all these teams have seen throughout the year how to stop it, that they don't even really use it that much anymore because I think they know like a lot of teams have a good feel for it. That all comes back into play. They get a couple of days off. They get bounced in the Big Ten tournament like I kind of secretly hoping for, and we ride.
If you play Yale in the 4-13 matchup, how anxious are you?
I'm not anxious. I mean, they should win that game. But they could lose. I mean, I watched, Beeline's first years. He lost to Ohio. in the tournament. He lost a couple. I'm still all in on this team. I've dusted off the Illinois game.
That's what I want to know. If you are all in,
I'm all in.
All right.
I'm easy to get off the mat. I'm ready to be hurt again. I think Maryland's going to be real tough test. I keyed the game for that. We're kind of the same team on paper. If you look at stats, we don't have very deep teams. We play our starters basically. A lot of the shooting numbers are the same. Defensive numbers are the same. The key is turnovers. Maryland's one of the better teams in the country at turning people over. I think they average turning. The other team averages over 15 turnovers against them. That has been Michigan's problem a lot of the year, but they've gotten a little bit better. If Michigan can keep this 10 turnovers or less, I think that's the number I'm watching. If we can keep it around that, I think we have a good chance to win a close game, not a big game by any means, blowout. And then for me, if I'm coaching, if I'm Dusty May, I would let that Gillespie kid, the point guard, I would drop coverage him. I would let him have 30 points in the mid range if he wants it, and let that beat you. I just can't have them stepping into confident catch and shoot threes because they do have some shooters on their team, and I just can't have that. So that's my game plan.
That's a early tip too, right?
6:30 BTN spot, baby. Evan's favorite.
Depressing.
Probably Robbie Hummel again. At least they put him on
Not
that
depressing.
game. No. All right. Before we get into the Sunday matchup, I do have to ask you guys, what are your vibes going into the Iowa game?
Oh,
I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I've had this vision in my head where they just have one night where they shoot gangbusters.
The script that I wrote is technically near enough 2 for 2 right now.
3 for 3, actually.
Nice 3 for 3.
You ate a Shamrock Shake.
Oh, that's true. Playing at the house of Fran is always scary. And
probably his last game, home
How's
game.
the Kalen Clark build?
I don't know what the spread will be. I would think it's around the 9.5.
Oh,
They are.
I think Iowa's going to shoot early and scare me a little, and then I have a meeting that's going to start at 8 p.m. Central, so right at halftime. So I'm hoping I can catch both. But I'm expecting to go down.
Meeting so late.
Businessman.
I expect to go down at the half to be down by 7 or 8 in that range.
7 or 8, Connor.
I'm so giddy.
Yeah, I'm just let me speak. I still believe in this team. We're great. 7 or 8. I think Iowa's going to make a few threes right to start the second half. We're going to be down about 14.
Oh my gosh!
And it's going to be a nice double-digit comeback, and we don't look back. Win out the rest of the way. Win a national championship. We beat Iowa in a double-digit comeback. We're winning it all.
You exercised the loss from a couple of years ago where you come back against Iowa and then you go on to win a natty. Wow.
Dude, it's happening. I did.
Bigger, faster, stronger than them.
Yes. They play no defense. I looked at their stats. They are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the Big Ten, but they're worst.
Best team assist ratios.
They
have all the offensive.
They're also 15 and 14.
They are missing the Big Ten tournament right now if it ended today. They're not in it. They're bottom 3.
Not coming back. Iowa's going to have a new coach next year. Let's get that through your head.
Minnesota's an 11 seed right now.
Isn't bottom 3 they don't
bottom
make
3
it?
are out.
Correct.
Yep.
They're bottom
Washington.
3 right now.
Iowa plays us, obviously, and then Nebraska. And if they beat Nebraska,
that's a do or die. Nebraska, it's a must win.
Probably win it in. Win it
into
the Big Ten tournament.
The Green's
They're
relegated.
playing on right now for
Nebraska's down by 8.
Nebraska's down 8.
Yeah.
How's the under looking?
How's the under looking?
What's the over-under? Probably
143.5.
We're at 68 with 3 minutes left in the first half. Not looking good.
No, that's going to be one. Well, that's 140. 3 minutes left. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
We might go over. It'll tighten up in the second half. They always do.
I don't know. How do you feel, Evan? Do you feel it's going to be kind of a runaway game?
Yes, I feel like Iowa's out to lunch. It's over with. And the good thing with this team, though, Connor, is you have so much depth that if some kid's not playing or performing well up to your standard, next guy up. We've never had that.
We're going to cover. I believe in cover.
We haven't had that. So all it takes is Cohen Carr to dunk once, and then our team's back in it. Feed the post, give it to Jackson Kohler. He'll get into it. Am I a little nervous? Our defensive stats are not going to show up in this game just because they're going to shoot somewhat well. But
look at this trend. You guys are fine. 3 losses, win. 3 losses, win. 2 losses, win. Probably win. No, probably 3 losses, win.
Okay.
They beat Nebraska.
$6 to get in the door. Not too bad.
Those numbers are never right. I actually might be right for this. State fans probably make up 30% of the crowd.
I still think we win. I just think it's going to be another dramatic game.
It'd be very college basketball for Iowa to win. Very college basketball.
It'd be sad.
I would be pissed off.
And it would be spicy.
Regardless, you beat Michigan at home. You're outright champ.
Yeah. Let's get into that. I looked up Michigan State's record. I can't confirm their senior days. I assume your guys' last home game every year is senior day. I don't know if you've done what Michigan did this year.
No.
Since Tom Izzo was there as a coach, there's only been 4 times in his illustrious career where you haven't won that game. 4.
3 of them are against Ohio State.
We lost last year, didn't we?
No. That was not on my list. Now, people can fact check me. I just went to College Basketball Reference and scrolled backwards and I just looked at the last home game every year. I came up with 1997, 1998, you did not win. 2003, 2004, you didn't win. 2005, 2006, you didn't win. In 2011, 2012, you didn't, which was the Buford shot that Wyatt sent today. So it's been since the 2011, 2012 season, so over a decade since you've lost your last home game of the year. So do I feel good about Michigan's odds? No, I really don't. Because it just doesn't happen. And then I was looking up, I will say this, though. I'm going to pull a classic Evan, where if Michigan either wins or however it works, if we get to that game where it's at least for a share, if not outright, I'm for sure watching highlights of like the 5 times Michigan has won at East Lansing in like the last 20 years. I was looking at those today. It doesn't happen a lot either, so it's not hard to find. The last time they won at East Lansing was 2018, January 13th, 2018. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous in the sense of it's a big game, but it's probably kind of how you guys felt against the Packers last year. It's like you're nervous because it's a rivalry game, but at the same time, I feel very confident in my team.
Maybe
we're
the
just
Vikings.
Better.
Probably the Vikings game last year to end the season. I still felt good against Sam Darnold.
I just don't see a world we lose that game. I really don't. I can't fathom it. I think we're better. The game we played against you last time, it's like you had the opportunity to just push us away when you're on the 18-2 run, and then you just let the boys back in it. And I don't see how you get a big enough lead to hold them off at the end, because if it's a tight-knit 2-point contest, I don't see it swinging your way.
The only way
will be on its A game.
I shouldn't say the only way. If Michigan is really smart, they would just go zone the entire game. The entire game.
I didn't think that worked well against us last time.
It did. The entire game they should do it. They didn't go zone the entire time. They went man and then zone and then back to man to end the game. They should go zone the entire time and be stubborn. And we're top 10 in fast break points, so you would limit that. Because if you slow up the pace of the game, you limit possessions, limit chance and opportunities. You got that. If we're in zone, that means we're not attacking much. We're going to shoot jump shots. We're averaging 17 point something from the free throw line. Limit those point totals. So now you're looking at a 60s and 50s game instead of 70s, high 70s, 80s games.
Make the 3. Make the 3, and there's your opportunity.
I think my scout would be, well, one, the only key metric is probably rebounding versus a team like Michigan State. Turnovers, sure, but I think like I have more fears of MSU doing what Illinois just did to us on the glass, which they already kind of did in the first matchup. Doing that. So rebounding's huge. Just got to give an all-out effort game for that. I think I would, whoever, Golden, I guess, or if, Cheddar's on them or Wolf, who's ever guarding your 5-man, if it's just one big out there, or honestly both bigs, I would just basically sag off towards the free throw line. And if that means you dare Jackson Kohler to shoot 10 threes in the game, and if he's going to hit 5, and that, again, that's how you lose, fine. But I need bodies closer to the paint to help rebound. And I don't want to mess with, I know obviously with screens and stuff and drop coverage, it's tough, but I would just give ultimate disrespect to the bigs and get as many bodies tight as I can to help rebound. And then on top of that, no one does full double teams, but I would do as much as I can to deny Jace Richardson the ball and double. And like, I need him to have 12 points or less in that game. That's my stat that I'm looking at. And if like, how you dare Howman to beat you again, you dare Akins to beat you again, which I can live with. Like, they're still good players, but I can't have Jace Richardson score 20 points again. Can't in the rematch. You got to have a plan for that kid. You should have already had a plan going into that game. You can't let him score 20 points again. And so it's very much easier said than done. I know that. But like, if that's putting LJ Kaysen in the game and saying, hey, don't worry about scoring, just run around and foul him on everything. And then we're also going to like hard hedge and flash doubles at him. And we'll let a kick and shoot Frankie Fiddler shoot a 3. And if he's going to make those and they're going to win that way, fine. But like, I can't have Jace Richardson get 20 points.
Also can't let Jiggy get his little 3 straight threes in a row. Was that Michigan game?
He has,
Yeah.
Yes, he has not shot well.
Yeah,
I'm saying though, Connor, I'm okay with that. If that happens again, I can live with that because like that is more of a likely of not happening again than Jace Richardson scoring 20 again. Because I know if you don't respect Jace Richardson, he will get 20.
I think you got to worry more about your own scoring. You can't go 5 for 21 from 3, and you can't go 11 for 18 from the line.
Yeah, very true. But like Michigan has shot, there was a stat from Blue by 90 since January 19th. So well over a month now. Michigan has made 79 of 273 3-pointers, shooting 29% for over a month and a half now. So it's not like an aberration. They had a hot stretch on the West Coast trip, and before then, they've really been terrible at shooting 3-pointers. So I think to Evan's point, they got to muck this up somehow, which is not really their game. They're not a muck it up team, but they got to like find a way
too. So it's like we're a good team that fights well in the muck.
I guess like you'd want this game to play through the post and just try to go golden and get pick and rolls with Danny Wolf. But I don't know. It's like I said.
It was Golden's game last time too. He kind of dominated when he had the chance. It's going to be
Golden's game again. Izzo has done that for years where he lets the post player feast. He lets the post player feast and everyone else can't have more than 10, 15.
Unless Michigan decides to dial in their defense rotations and does what I'm asking them to do, where it's like you're going to ask Kohler to score 30 points in the game. And then if it's a Kohler versus Golden game, I can live with that. I think that gives us a better chance to win. If it gets into a guard game, we already know how that goes. It does not go well. But we don't. You guys have too many guards. We don't have enough guards, simply. I will say it's so stupid vibes-wise. If you told me, like the Purdue matchup for us, if we went to Breslin and lost by 20 in the first matchup, I'd feel so much better about you guys coming to Chrysler and having that shot. Like we were able to beat Purdue by like 3 points at home. But like just the vibes of already having lost at home, now going to Breslin, that just feels like a 10% chance. Like if we play this game 10 times, I think Michigan could pull it out maybe once. But that all it takes is that one night.
I'm praying Cone Carr posterizes Vladdy.
Can't have those dunks. Alex is right. Those dunks do count for 6 points.
That picture happens so I can just bask in it.
Yeah, I won't have a comeback. Other than I can do my Pierre Brooks, even though it was for Butler when he dunked on Cone. I still look at that sometimes. Like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Oh, fun fact of my experience at Breslin, I was the first person in the arena, besides the student section, to stand up on Cone Carr's second dunk.
You saw it coming.
Oh my God, when he caught it just inside the 3-point line, I was already standing with my hand in the air.
Yes, Grant.
Ram that.
Was there a lot of Wisconsin fans near you? Or like, what was the...
I saw a few at the bar before the game, but none in my area. Didn't even hear them. Didn't even know they were there if they were.
Silent assassins.
Yeah. Packers fan. First Wisconsin fan I saw was wearing a cheesehead crossing the road in front of Harrison Roadhouse.
Done.
We'll bounce around quickly here to the last few topics. Get out of here in 20 minutes. Lions. First thing I had was Darius Slay. Big Play Slay got released, and there's buzz about a Lions reunion, mainly because he went on St. Brown podcast earlier this year and said, like, if he had to play for another team, he'd still be open to the Lions. Evan, you're a big contract guy. We don't know what the number would be.
Big contract guy.
It probably would be more money than we'd want to pay for a over 30-year-old cornerback. But from CBS Sports, to set it up for you, he is coming off one of his best seasons. When opposing quarterbacks threw him the ball towards him, he only gave up 47% completion rate. And then didn't have any picks, though. He only allowed a 63.6 passer rating as the primary defender in coverage, 13 pass breakups, and allowed only 2 touchdowns.
Got a pick in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Against
correction.
Top 10 quarterback Jordan Love.
Suck at CBS.
Not top
No,
30.
regular season interceptions. So, Evan, knowing that, Is this the type of position of need or player that you would be willing to maybe spend a little bit more per year to get for one last ride?
I don't think he is a schematic fit in 90% of the situations. He doesn't
Not a
really
man
come
guy.
up. He doesn't really come up and tackle. He's not very physical. He is good man. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we're going to run as much man with a new defensive coordinator. And then cap-wise, he's an older veteran, so he's going to want that guaranteed money up front and plus probably the blanket security of a small multi-year deal, probably 2 years. I don't think he's going to play on a 1-year deal. Cut your losses, move on. I think there's more talent there. Is he going to be cheaper than Carlton Davis? Absolutely. Would be nice to have the reunion, but for fan, no. I'm trying to host a trophy at the end of the year.
If he's cheaper than Carlton Davis, though, would you seriously think about it?
I would seriously think about it, but I also would look elsewhere. Dramatically. He would be like my last option.
Yeah, because there's that other guy we talked about, the Ward guy from 49ers. You have Carlton Davis obviously out there who knows the kind of defense, even if it changes a little bit. So I guess it also depends on how confident you are on Ennis Rakestraw, if he's going to be healthy and you are
Arnold
bought in on him.
year.
So
who's your top?
I would like to have a veteran there. I just wish it would be Carlton Davis coming back for another year.
Definitely need a vet.
Can you remind me who your top 3 corners are?
Well, on roster right now, it'd be Terry and Arnold is number 1.
Terry Arnold.
Everyone else is free agents, pretty much.
Probably Ennis Rakestraw is number 2 before he got
Meek
Robertson, slot corner.
Is he still on?
Yes.
You want Jair from us? We'll trade
No, I saw.
I don't think anybody in the Lions
contemplated it, haven't you?
No,
wants.
He's a cancer. He doesn't fit our locker room.
I don't think he's a cancer.
He is. Okay. Respectfully, good, talented player. He is.
I mean, it's
Connor. He's gonna be a Chief.
I bet if you sat down 90% of the Packers, and honestly, they'd say they hate his guts. I could be totally off.
Really good when he's healthy, though. That's the problem. He's really good, but he can't play a lot.
He's gonna be a Chief. Don't worry about it. Chief or Raven.
What are we gonna get back for our a third?
No,
5th or 6th, just to get out of.
We are not getting.
Contract.
We got to get more than a 5th.
Dude, what I'm seeing from deals going on,
I think
Jordan Jackson is a solid guard. He just went for a 6th-round pick to the Bears.
5th-round pick. Got to get rid of his contract. Debo.
Maybe a 4th?
5th-round pick.
Dude, I don't think Jair has a big contract. I thought he was about to be up.
Come on, Packers fan, look it up.
He doesn't play. He just doesn't play football, which is a big part of football.
Which is a big part of being good at football.
I'm a notorious don't worry about the cap guy. I would selfishly just get caught up in the emotions of Darius Slay coming back, so I'd be down for it. You could tell me, though, it ends up like the CJ Gardner-Johnson, the last Eagle we took on to be a veteran. It kind of is cool for a little bit, and then in the playoffs, it's kind of gets exposed. So I don't know.
Slick's a quiet guy. He's a do it by business.
I would like to see him just fully happy in Detroit, and I know how miserable it was with the bad man here when he was here. Next topic, Hutchinson and JMO. 5th-year option time of year. Well, not really until May. We have until May to figure it out. But the numbers got released. Let me pull this up quickly.
I think it's easy to pick up the 5th-year option on Hutchinson.
So Hutchinson would cost the Lions $19.8 million for 2026 with the 5th year.
Not pick it up though.
Yes.
And Williams would be 15.5 for his.
I don't think I'm paying Williams the 15. I'm sorry. I think I'm letting actually JMO go.
I think we could be opposite here, Evan. The more I thought about it, because first of all, I'm still trying to grasp, like Connor said, to the kind of dumb football brain. We're trying here, folks. Why you would not pick up the 5th year for Hutchinson. I think the reason you wouldn't is because, kind of to your point earlier, Evan, with the T. Higgins thing, it might be smarter just to sign his extension this offseason because he's eligible. Because if he plays really good again, he's only going to want potentially more money. So like you kind of sign him now when he might be a little bit lower value off an injury, even though he's not low value. Like he's still going to be like the highest paid defensive player probably in football when he signs it, and then it'll look better over time. But depending on the cap, that's the reason you would potentially not, like you still pick up the 5th year, but you also sign the long-term extension and like average it all out
I would
this offseason. Whereas Williams, I think
I would give Hutchinson the $19 million this year, and then when he's fully healthy and he's not coming off a broken freaking leg, that's when his contract jumps up to $25, $28 million.
Yeah.
But 1 year, I would like to have him at that $19 million so I can do a little bit more in free agency.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And then for JMO, to me, when at first I was like, well, that's a lot. But then I looked, and like this article, it says that would put him 15th among NFL receivers in 2026 between Brandon Ayuk and Alan Lazard. And we can, Alan Lazard shouldn't be paid that much, obviously. But like, if you told me that's where he's at, I wouldn't mind, again, assuming he plays good this year. But like, part of me would just opt into it when you have to this year.
Tyreek has a 51 cap hit next year. Dolphins are so stupid.
I think I would do it just because, again, you get that extra year, and then he might be gone after that. But I think he might be a candidate where you take 2 more years of him, and then if you think like long term after this year and after the next year, you're not going to extend him further because of either on the field, off the field, whatever. I just think at that number, it seems like a lot, but it's not crazy. And he really did have a nice season for when he was out there. I think I would do it.
He is the biggest person that is. I don't want to pay him superstar wide receiver amount due to his overall production of the 3 years and his little off field. But I also don't want to see him on any other team. I don't want to have to play him.
100%. Like, I don't want to see him go. So it's kind of like I almost have to opt into that and then let him show me if he really deserves superstar money. And then it's like, I don't know if we can pay it.
He's going to be worth more than $15 million in 2 years.
Yeah, maybe. Like, he's so boomer bust. Like, he might play himself out of that. He might play himself out of our team. And there's nothing we can really do about it. I want to see these cap hits. So 15. I mean, what is Jacoby Myers? Yeah, I mean, Darnell Mooney, if he's 14.4 and Myers is 14.9, I know Justin will go up eventually, but like, I'm paying. How did they do Justin's contract if he's only doing 15 right now? Oh, that's why. They kicked it 38, 43, 47. Better do it now. Contracts are such a joke how you can just do that. His base goes from 1 million to 24 million next year.
Find a nice little mansion, Ian.
So what did they give him, a big bonus? I don't understand how this works. They must have given him
restructuring it probably in his contract.
Signing bonus of 36.9 million. That's how you do it. You just pay it all right there. Yeah. They gave him 36.9 signing bonus when he signed. So then they paid him nothing in like actual cap money. God, the cap is a joke. If you have rich owners right away, they'll just be like, all right, here's 40 million to make you happy for 2 years, and then we'll come back to when we actually have to pay you on the books. What a joke. Okay, last one. Fun one for the Lions. I haven't showed you guys this. From the Athletics.
And we don't care who knows.
Dane Brugler, first one. I think I like him.
First
Daniel Jeremiah. And then
suck.
I forget another one. But those two, him and Jeremiah, I like a lot. Dane Brugler is more for analysis. He's not as plugged in like an insider, but he did one.
Cam Ward. I can see that. Or is this slides? Shooter slides?
Shooter slides. Yeah, this says the Giants traded up to take Cam Ward number 1 overall.
If I'm the Titans, I'm sorry. I'm not passing up the opportunity to get Abdul Carter. I'm not.
We can stop at the Packers for Connor.
Ashton Genty at 6, though, was absurd.
Oh, we almost get Shadur. He almost slid us.
All right, Connor, you're 23. Ooh, Michigan State.
From the D. No. From the D.
You wouldn't like him?
It'd be fine. We need a cornerback. Or a receiver.
So position need.
It's
best pressures.
But obviously,
not
Gutekunst will take someone who's we took Jordan Morgan, an offensive tackle from Arizona, over Cooper DeJean when cornerback was our biggest need.
Great basketball player at Michigan. People forget.
I don't trust at all what's going to happen. Wrong, Jordan Morgan.
And staying in the Michigan State theme, this one has the Lions taking Kenneth Grant.
Oh my God.
6'4", 331.
Woodwood Sports or all Michigan fans can make this mock draft or what?
Evan, how would you feel as a Michigan State fan if we took Kenneth Grant?
He's a very good talent prospect. It wouldn't bug me too much.
I perked up when I saw it. I mean, I think that'd be The one thing about him is definitely would have to be the right fit in a locker room. I think the only hiccups with him at Michigan were just like overall motor. He's a big guy. He's kind of like the Jalen Carter type in the sense where like you're going to get his best for a handful of plays and you hope it wrecks the game, but you're not going to get like
Laggy Grant.
Oh,
God,
no.
he's reconnecting.
Back?
There he is.
All right.
You're back now.
You're a little delayed.
Back? Can
You're
you
back.
hear me?
You're crystal clear.
You're good. You're good.
All right. I was saying that Kenneth Grant is a little bit of Jalen Carter in the sense that they can give you their absolute best for like those 5 to 10 plays that you hope can help wreck a game. But the one knock will be like motor throughout an extended game of how many snaps he can play. But especially with Liam McNeil not being back for a while, I think this would be sick to add to our defensive line. So I was happy with
biggest
this first
need
one
right
I
now.
saw.
I don't
To
think
me,
it is
yeah.
our biggest need.
Trenches. I would just say trenches overall.
I would agree. Front 7. I'm also at that point where, like, this late in the round, like, I want to almost, like, trade out of it. Like, there's other teams want to get up to get that 5th-year option that we just talked about. Like, get a next round. Because we only have, like, 5 picks, I think, in this draft. Like,
sounds right. We don't have as many. I know that.
Does that have 2 rounds on this or no?
I don't think so. The DT class also I've seen is very deep.
Like, they were talking about
This
how
one.
this draft class in general is deep. I saw a report that, like, over the last, like, previous 2 years, like, somebody that's going at, like, 35, 40 range in this draft would be going at, like, 11, like, the previous 2 years.
Wow.
I would
Just
love
because
it.
of, like,
Oh my
the
god, if we
talent
took
in
a
those positions
Buka,
this
that'd be
year.
awesome.
I think.
Shedeur not going to go 21 to Pittsburgh. That's
What
not
I
gonna happen.
Well,
really,
not your
really,
mock, Connor. Not
really,
your mock.
what
That's
Lions
true. That's
fans
true.
or somebody needs to do is you need all of those teams that need a quarterback, you need them to draft quarterbacks. Like, you need the Colts to draft a goddamn tight end. You need all the wide receivers to go. So, like,
And
the
running
defense,
backs.
yes, you need
All
all
the
those to
running
go
backs.
early because it falls right into our lap of, okay, now we get to pick like a handful of 5 to 6 guys that we like.
Yeah.
And
I wanna
but
need.
Brad and Dan have gone off the beaten path, off the radar the last couple of years, and been like, where they only grade out a certain amount of players in first round talents, like 11 or 12 guys.
It's true. They
Do
get
we have an idea we're going to
crazy
draft
in the
Jahmyr
first
Gibbs?
round.
Hell no. We have any idea we're going to draft Jack Campbell in the first round? Hell no. It's nice
Yeah.
for Jack. It's nice, like an area of need, but position of value,
I
see
could
it
see
differently.
us. I know we have a long way to it, but I could see us on that point, Evan, like just getting nuts with our first round pick if we take it, and then stocking up on like defensive tackle and maybe another guard or
Get
tackle
depth.
for the second round. But like if he was gonna do that, there could be some wide receiver. Like maybe they're already thinking about JMO's contract situation
It could
and
be.
like having a third receiver, and they might take like if let's say they were really high on this
You
Matthew
draft
Golden
Golden. If you
kid.
draft Golden over us, I'd be so pissed off.
We get a Meko Buka, and then Grant's wearing a Meko Buka black Lions jersey in the Ford Field next year.
I want
I
Will
don't
Johnson
see
so
that.
bad.
But either way, I just want to be able to rush the passer bad. I just want to get after the quarterback. And
That's why I want speed on the edge. But the 2 best guys that have performed overall the last couple, the Senior Bowl and now the Draft Combine, have the biggest red flags.
red flags.
And
There was that one A&M kid that tested really well athletically that I think
yes.
Cody
He
had texted
was
us
like, I
about.
think he was like a 3-tech-ish kind of guy. I don't know if he played on the edge exclusively, but
Yeah.
You put up
I
100.
need speed on the edges.
Yeah. Did you say Purdue put up 100? They could get hot. I know Evan doesn't want to hear
Nebraska
that.
took the lead against the Buckeyes.
How's the under looking?
Terrible.
Not good. I'm not gonna lie
Damn
to you.
Why are they scoring so much?
50 to 49 with 16 minutes to go.
That's okay. No, it's not great.
40. Yeah, okay.
I'm so bad at like
Recognize
pace math.
transaction.
Auburn's down at that. BYU's beating Iowa State. Some good
Oh,
hoops.
that was today. Duh.
All right, to wrap it out,
Pistons.
let's do Pistons and Red Wings together. Honestly, we'll just transition into them.
Red Wings are
Pistons
falling
are-
harder than a freaking sinking rock.
Yeah,
Lost 3 in a
Pistons-
row now.
on the opposite side are going up. I think I saw an article
Cannot
that
wait.
said first time they've won 10 games in an 11-game stretch since 2007, 2008. So we are really living in
The golden
fantasy land
era
right now.
of Pistons basketball.
The end of when we used to play the Heat every year in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're back to that in terms of playing. I think the best part about this team is that our defense has improved a ton. I know we used to make jokes about the Lions, and I did. The Lions and Michigan football resembling each other. I see a lot of Michigan State in this Pistons team. They defend.
Michigan State football?
No, Michigan State basketball.
I was going to say Michigan State football does not defend great.
We don't have a Malik Beasley.
Connor, yeah, right. Not every comparison is perfect, but they defend, they rebound, and they run. They're a young, athletic team that likes to run in transition, and they play a bunch of guys. The Pistons just throw bodies out there throughout the game. You know, they play like 10 guys a ton. So I see similarities between that. Obviously, Cade is different. There's different layers to the NBA, but I would say in terms of overall philosophy of basketball, I feel like they're kind of similar.
It's just nice to have some excitement past Christmas in the NBA. I mean, we haven't gotten that since 2019. I mean, I still got excited over the Blake Griffin that one year where we made the playoffs. But seeing 35 and 27 next to our name on ESPN is such a great feeling.
Just look at those green W's. That's insane from where this team was last year.
I don't think I've ever tried to stream East the Pistons starting in March, so it's just good to have a team that matters.
Saturday night primetime versus Oklahoma City at St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yeah.
They have a phenomenal shot at getting home court advantage in the 4-5 game.
I know that's the goal right now. If we're talking about what we're playing for, the 4 seed would be sick.
Tickets for $50? What am I doing with my life?
Would you rather be in the 4-5 as the 4 seed with Milwaukee, or I know you guys want the Knicks matchup bad.
I flip-flop on that. I don't really care. I think the Knicks are a playoff team. Like, they'll just turn it on for the playoffs.
I don't see us beating a healthy Bucks team, though, in a series. I don't think that. You'd have to get lucky and Giannis get hurt again in the postseason, which could happen.
I don't even know who's on Bucks anymore.
We could have Beef Stew and Durant just go after him, though. Like, bang him up like the bad boys.
How did we give him $12 million a year?
Who's the Bucks' third guy that they have?
Beef Stew's solid. You watch your mouth.
He's averaging 5 a game this year.
Who's the
Bucks
Bucks?
Don't really have a third guy. He's like the...
Did they just trade for
Bobby
somebody?
Portis is suspended, right?
Well, that he was never a third guy, Connor. Come on.
I know. Is Brook Lopez still there? God,
are you kidding me? This was 9 years ago.
Kuzma.
Testing my NBA knowledge.
Lopez is
that team.
Brook Lopez is there, asshole.
Middleton I thought got traded.
Right? He did.
Why is there an asterisk?
He must have traded out, and then Kuzma got traded in. Mid-season trades, yeah.
I would not feel good at all going into a Bucks. That honestly scared me of another sweep, just like in 2019.
Well, we have home court advantage.
The Knicks are the Knicks. They're good. They're proven. The Bucks have Giannis.
We started off. Oh my God!
And the Pacers own us. So there's no great matchup of those three. I just want the home court advantage.
0-5.
I just want to see a nice 6-game series at least. I mean, I've never experienced a Piston win in my life. I just want to see it.
Yeah. What's I like to look into this. The Tankathon.
Okay, Washington should be 2 wins. Portland should be a win.
It is. It's definitely. Well, it's actually a lot more positive than Tiger vibes were at this point in the season. But
yeah, I was thinking about that today.
I don't see it. They're not a. Actually, no, I can't say it. They are a team that could shock us and get to the conference finals because they're good and they're playing well against good teams. It's not like they're. Yeah, they've had a lot of the Bulls, but you saw that played against Boston. They were
beat them. That was.
I mean, they just got their ass kicked by Denver, though. But they're beating the bad teams by
Denver's
15 to 20 points. They beat the Clippers, West, Atlanta.
This is
got some makeup.
This is the remaining strength of schedule for NBA teams. We're about dead middle of the 30. We're 12th toughest remaining schedule. So Thunder twice, Bucks twice, Grizzlies in there. That'll be fun. But we do get all those teams. Well, the Pelicans are actually not as bad now. So I don't know if I would say Pelicans. I would throw in the easy bucket.
We're not going to have a first-round pick, I'm pretty sure, this year.
Correct.
I think the Isaiah Stewart trade is finally catching up to us where we lose a pick.
The one thing that will catch up to us, though, in all honesty, is this team is young and we have like these fresh legs that are good night in and night out. But when every good team, like the Knicks, brings their absolute best in 7 games, that's when we got to see what we really have. Because
Also,
a
when
lot
you're
of
missing
these
Ivy.
veteran teams, yeah, and Ivy too, which is crazy. We've been doing all this without Jay and Ivy. So, like you said, Connor, well said. Stream East into March. Exciting stuff.
I would like to check their record since that Jay and Ivy buzzer beater. That kind of started. That'd be around like Thanksgiving, like November 22nd or something.
Oh,
On the
hockey!
flip-
I see you, Grant.
On the flip side, that's not good, Evan. We have the toughest remaining schedule.
I told you that when
in
we
the
looked at the
NHL.
schedule at the beginning of the year.
That's backloaded.
Yeah,
Important games though.
and we have 21 left. I bet you 75% of them are on the road.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Rangers are on our ass, and they're third and toughest schedule left. So
we're sinking like a rock, Connor. We've lost 3 in a row. 2 of them were to the team that's directly tied with us.
We're out.
Rangers just
suck it.
differential's not helping at all. Still, obviously, in it though. I mean, definitely.
You know what this past week felt like with the back-to-back Jackets loss was when I think I was living in Minnesota. I think we were in the hunt halfway through and we lost to the Ottawa Senators in back-to-back games. And it felt like the same crushing blow where we like lose all momentum we were building up.
Remember that.
Now really we're dangling over a cliff. The trade deadline, again, crazy enough, is still not over yet in the NHL. So this Friday is
this week
last chance to make moves. So
Steve's going to do his typical same bull crap. We're competitive, but we're not there yet to compete for a Stanley Cup. So we're not going to like splash and ruin our future. We might add a piece or something to get us into a freaking playoff game. But
that'd be huge. I just want to make the play. Utah is a must-win.
Yeah, I just
Label
want
that
to
a
make
must-win
the
right
playoffs.
now.
I just want to make it.
I just want to feel playoff hockey
And
in my body.
if you make the playoffs, you have a shot at the cup. So
I need to look
the
at standings again.
So
Where's
we just play
Washington?
tonight. You have a day off.
Oh, great. Washington's the top of the Metro. That's not going to be good.
All Ovechkin does is score goals every single night. He's just chasing
Trying to break the
Gretzky's
record,
thing, and he's
Then we have
95 years
Ottawa.
old.
I saw Ottawa on our schedule. Okay. Buffalo's not good, correct?
Correct.
Carolina again. Vegas, Washington, Vegas.
in weekends in 1 week.
Colorado, Ottawa again, Boston. Yeah, it's going to be
if you
tough.
want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
I think we played the Lightning last.
Well said.
We played
Earn
somebody
your
in the
way
last 2 games.
Oh, we got
God.
the tank at the end of the season. That's
Here
a
we
big
go.
one.
We get Florida Panthers twice in 1 week to end the season.
No Kachuk, though, thankfully for us. He's out for the rest of the regular season. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good remaining
great,
schedule.
Bob. Not
It's the
great.
worst. It's the hardest. It literally is the hardest schedule left based on win percentages. So,
God.
I don't know.
Count the home games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Look
6.
at this stretch. This year, Evan, is brutal away stretch.
We're getting screwed. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day at home because you're going on the road for a
Look
week.
at
Four of the
that
last
stretch.
6.
Oh, well, Godspeed to the Red Wings.
Godspeed is right.
No, we do not give up on this podcast.
No, we don't.
Don't worry. 4 last 6 are on the road, and your last home game, just against the President's Trophy winning, potentially Dallas Stars in the West. Yeah, here you go.
And we got absolutely hosed by the refs
The
in the
high
horseshoe.
sticking that just refused to call.
Pissed me off.
I love the outdoor game, don't get me wrong. Didn't see much of it, had to rewatch it. However, the circumstances for the Red Wings to be in that situation where playoff, I mean, NHL scripted it, couldn't script it any better.
Yeah, the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card. 2 playoff teams, you didn't get like 2 bottom feeders playing in that game.
When was that decided? Just right before the season?
3 years ago.
Oh, so
2
it was
years
multiple
ago.
years.
Yeah, it's multiple years out in advance.
Well, on a positive spin, the Tigers are coming back in less than a month.
Yeah.
MLB baseball is about to be
Thanks
back.
for not signing anybody in free agency because
They did sign people.
Vierling, done, IR. Meadows, done, IR.
What?
Parker Meadows is going to start the season on IR, IL, whatever you want to call it, DL.
He got injured?
Parker Meadows has nerve
see
damage in
anything.
his throwing arm. Can't throw the baseball. I almost said football.
Well, that's why we have
Yeah, not
Gleyber
great.
Torres to rake in the lineup.
He's out indefinitely right now. Says the injury was a freak accident that occurred in the spring training opener. Tigers are forced to wait and see. That sounds actually terrible.
Nerve damage, Connor. He ain't playing for a while.
Flaherty,
it's not good.
Torres, and you got a really good reliever in Connell.
You know who can play third base?
Matt Vierling.
No.
Oh.
He's injured.
Yes, he can play third base, but yes,
You know who
Alex Bregman.
You know who played third base in college?
Miggy?
Spencer Torkelson.
No, Torkelson's not. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, Torkelson can catch a fly ball. He's going to be playing left because Riley Green's going to have to play center.
How cool would that be if this was a nice Torkelson renaissance year, though?
Just
45
hammers out.
bombs, 130 RBIs, 320.
That's too. Yo.
Casey Mize,
God.
20-3. The Tigers are back.
Our pitching staff, though, looks good. Foley the other day, not so much.
I think Joe will be our third guy.
Yeah, Job is.
Then Olsen
You
and Mize.
yelled at me last time.
No. Someone else thought Joe would be a bullpen guy.
Alex.
I
No.
thought Job wouldn't be ready yet. I didn't think they would do it to him.
It might have been Evan. I feel like Evan said bullpen.
You were the guy. I've always said
You
Joe
did.
is a
I said
for
bullpen.
sure rotation.
And then I got yelled at. Be like, no, dude, he's our starter.
Okay. Absolutely is a starter.
I already know this. He won't be there until next year. That catcher we got in the Sweeney deal, Theron Lorenzo, is going to be my favorite player of all time.
Of all time.
I love catchers. I mean, Pudge is number one. I'm sorry. Pudge is one. This kid's going to be my new one.
Gerald Laird.
I thought Tucker Barnhart could have done it,
Brian
but he
Pena
didn't.
with his painted nails. Was that Brian
Eric-
Pena?
Eric, what's his name? A hometown hero? Eric, I can't even remember his last name.
I can't. I don't
All
know.
I'm thinking about is Eric Thomas, but it's.
Well, now you got Dylan Dingler.
Is it Eric? Isn't it? It's the one that hit the home run opening day against Chicago.
What year?
Literally 2 years ago. I was in Grand Valley listening to it on the radio. Javi Baez was on the team.
The Tigers catcher with the beard?
Oh, wait.
Went to the Brewers.
Eric Haas.
Eric Haas.
I knew it was Eric. That bad. You gave the company to Eric? Yeah, Eric Haas.
All right. Cheers. Would you smash or pass this?
Absolutely
hot dog.
not. That looks horrendous.
I
Is
think
that
it looks
it?
great. Punchki. It's a punchki hot dog.
Oh.
I don't like mustard to begin with, so.
It sounds kind of good. The salty and sweet.
I think I
What
would
type of
pass.
punchki?
I don't want the chili on it.
It is a punchki, Connor.
I don't want the
I
chili.
said, what type of punchki is it?
Oh,
Just
probably like vanilla, caramel glazed.
That's
it's gotta be
so
plain.
bad.
Why did I say caramel? I mean glazed. Just a glazed punchki. Could be bigger. The bun to wiener ratio is not great.
It's too sloppy. Too sloppy.
I think it would be so good. I want one bad, but
Ryan,
I'm not gonna have
would
one this year.
love that thing. Oh my god, just drip over his face.
He would eat 4 of them.
All right. Cheers to 202.
Cheers. 202.
Cheers.